All right, welcome guys. Welcome back to the IBENDEOBE podcast, where we discuss out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, and then how to integrate these things in the physical body. With us today, we have a very special guest for multiple reasons. First reason being this is our first guest on the IBENDEOBE podcast. Another reason is this guy is the living embodiment of what Bam and I speak on how we can integrate these things in the physical body, on how I hear some echo. And how we can integrate these things in the physical body, and essentially our soul can fuel our bodies. So without further ado, Mikey, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the best podcast ever, man.
Great, man. I love your energy. So Mikey, what got you started on this journey? How did you find out that
Find out that what?
Find out that you can essentially, or how about this? How about let's start with introducing yourself. So Mikey,
Okay, cool.
what is it that you do? What are you doing these days? What is it that you do?
Man, I'm going to tell you guys, there's some crazy energy going on right now. Everything's just acting weird. I heard like the voice echoes, but also my mic is like flashing and stuff. Is it on? This is not even recording. Yeah, guys, I guess it's, yeah.
You can keep going.
It's good now. You want to hit record?
It's all right. We're live, guys. You know, these things happen.
Yes.
I had some technical difficulties last week, so just bear with us. Let us get everything figured out.
All right, cool. Let me do it without the mic, sure. Just look at the storage space on it. Wow, man. All right, cool. Just getting into it. I'm alive, just like everyone else. I'm a living person. I'm a normal dude. I have, 5 fingers on each hand. I have 2 eyes, and I was born into this reality. We're all here, and it takes energy to live. It takes energy to be. It takes energy to sustain. And no matter who you are, that energy runs throughout your body. You're conductive, you're transducive. And whenever you have this energy, you can direct it through your intention and your concentration. And then it spans and it scopes out what you're sensitive to. And that's just what this is. I mean, I learned it when I was born. The moment you're born, you're looking at everything. All you're doing is getting visual cues from reality. That's the signal of what you're experiencing in that moment. So the more you acknowledge reality, the more you can shift dimensionally inside of reality. So I just started doing it from like the age of, I would say consciously by like the age of 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And that is very true, because we do come with these truths when we're born, right? It's not until we get conditioned by the matrix and limiting beliefs in us where we start to believe things may be a little different. Right. So with that said, what exactly do you do? If you had to classify yourself as one thing or a multiple of things, what would that be?
I'm a person who just lives. I take every second in moment by moment. I'm retired and I just chill. I chill all day. I hang out. I travel the world. I go around the world. I've been traveling the world constantly for the past 5 years. And once you understand that this is not real, then nothing's impossible. And I believe that, so therefore I'm doing it. So if nothing's impossible, I'm going to retire by the age of 29. I did it. Says nothing's impossible, I'm going to have multiple women who love me. I did it. Says nothing is impossible, I have infinite wealth to travel the world and go to every country. I'm doing it. So it's just nothing's impossible. I don't have to work out and I have muscles. I just don't believe this is real. So I just spend my day seeing, okay, well, what else isn't real? That's all I do.
Yeah.
There's nothing to sell, nothing to buy, nothing to do. Just kind of it's me embracing myself all day.
That is very beautiful, man. And I find it so interesting that you were able to realize this without leaving your body, right? Because like I leave my body and that's how I realize like, hey, this is really a game that we're in. Like, and I find it very fascinating.
I think leaving the body may be a distraction. Because it's when you plug in deeper that everything else changes. But if you leave your body, you go, but you come back and like you're still here, and then you have to keep doing work and stuff. But if you just keep that same energy that you would have left your body, but you put it here, this ends up phasing into what you would have traveled into whenever you had the out of body experience. If you're going to like a different, like learning how to pull that dimension into this dimension without ever having to leave, and you get to save a lot of energy. I've had a couple experiences like out of body and stuff like that. But if you can, everything takes energy. So if you can optimize and utilize your energy to its greatest denominator, then everything else around you shifts versus you. It's almost like you don't move through the universe. The universe moves to you. Like you're playing a POV, a first person shooter. You're not moving on the field. Yeah. The game is moving closer towards you as you're going in and out. And that saves you a lot of energy. And that's how I'm able to go like, I haven't eaten in 59 days. I haven't
59 days now.
59 days. But people were like, you look normal to me. But unless I say that, they're like, they wouldn't have known. Because like when you optimize your energy and you use it to its highest efficiency, it's just like you don't gas out, you don't get tired. So you just want to like fine tune everything, bring the out of body experience into the body and make it change out here versus you going to it saves energy. Doing this saves energy, doing that and everything else, you know?
Yeah, very true, very true. And that's kind of the process that we're trying to explain to people, which is why we're glad we have you on, is how do we really integrate these things into the physical body, right? Because we know they're real, we know they exist, right? Like you said, nothing is real. So if nothing's real, everything's possible, right? Yeah. That is very true. So once you realize everything's possible, you kind of almost have to rewire your brain to think like that, to understand, okay, everything is possible, but you can't just say it. You really have to believe these things, right?
I think the more we talk, the less we believe. That's why people talk so much, because you don't believe it. You're just trying to convince others to gather on your train, so that way you have a group here. Look, see, we all believe the same thing. It's once you venture out into the water that there's no one else around you, like, oh shit, you kind of end up a place you're like, now I have to believe it. Money where your mouth is. That happened to me in Vietnam. I was going to the border from Cambodia to Vietnam, and they weren't letting me across. I couldn't get, like, for some reason, the two ladies who I'm with, I'm polyamorous, but like my two partners, they got their visa, but mine for whatever reason didn't come through, and we got it like 2 weeks ahead of time. So I got to the border, they weren't letting me through, and the government was saying like, these two ladies can come in, but you can't. You stay in Cambodia. And I'm like, what the? No, I'm not fucking leaving my partners. Like, what are you talking? You're crazy. Like, they're like, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. I'm like, fuck this, bro. This isn't real. This isn't real. And I sat there and I went inside. I did the thing. I just shut the fuck up. I went inside myself. I changed everything. And all of a sudden, bam, my visa came through and I got in the country. When everybody was like, you need to leave because they're a communist country. They're like communists. They have the communist Russian flag all across their country. So they don't fuck around. They'll throw you in prison and fucking crazy shit over there. They're like, hey man, the military is here. You can't just stay here at the border. If you can't get in, you gotta fucking go. And I was like, I told them, I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm going across that border. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Like, bro, they have guns. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. And I sat there for like 2 hours, and they kept like looking at me and staring at me like, dude, the police are here. You gotta go. You got to go. And I'm like, I'm not leaving. And I went inside of myself and I changed that belief that I have. And they're like, hey, your visa came through. And I walked in and everyone was looking at me. Everyone from the government and all the people who told me I had to leave. They're like, the fuck you got in? They were like baffled. Like, how the fuck did you get in the country? I told you I'm getting in this country, man. It was crazy.
That is a beautiful story.
Flying out to visit me the next day from another country. She was flying out to come see me. So that was kind of like my main motivation. Like, I got to get in today because she's already like on the plane, like coming. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is a beautiful story, man. And it's so funny how as you change your inner world, your outer world will then change with it. That is beautiful. That's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. That was a few months ago. That was like, it wasn't even a long time ago. That was like the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. And it's always strange. I feel like I know these things are true, but once I actually experience it and I realize how powerful my mind really is, it's always surprising when you see the outcome and it actually happened here, isn't it? Like, did that surprise you at all when that happened, or were you just like, I told you?
Well, I don't want to get in the pride of I hate the I told you prideful mindset, because it only brings you back down to your reverted state. So I was, the moment I got through, it told me, all right, stay fucking focused. All right, going into this country, doing this stuff, like, don't let your mind succumb. Make sure, okay, cool. We accomplished this. Don't get stuck on your accomplishment. Start focusing on what's about to come next and stay engaged. That's what it got me in state to stay in state.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Always stay focused on the now. Yes.
That where we at? What we doing? Okay, we already accomplished that. There's no reason to praise. Okay, we did it. We're gone. We're across the border. Okay, what we in like right now?
What's going on now? Yeah. What's happening now? Yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So I'm sure everybody here is curious about your diet. What does your diet look like these days? What are you doing to sustain this energy?
So like there are people who eat 3 times a day, and I usually still have more energy than them. I'm more hype, I have more energy, I'm more elated, I feel good, I can go, I have stamina. So even whenever people eat every single day, I usually can outlast them. Not a competition or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, comparative of energy. So those people eating every day, I don't eat every day, and I still have more energy than them. So with that being stated, it's not even about what you eat, what you don't eat. It's about what's wasting your energy, what's been wasting your energy. Negative thoughts, doubt, fear, chemicals, toxins, drinking, smoking, vaping, air fresheners, aerosols, colognes, EMFs. So when you take all that stuff out of your environment and you only have a pure environment, you'll notice just right there, you're not hungry anymore. Just from that one simple thing. And I'm talking about, are you vegan? Are you carnivore? Are you vegetarian? Are you keto? Like, all that stuff doesn't even matter. What truly matters is start being aware of what's taking your energy. Probably even me holding this mic, EMFs, just holding it. So I try to like put it on the stand and, get away from me as much as possible. Being in LED lighting, colognes, candles, air fresheners, detergents, that stuff just saps you and it kills you. That's why people are hungry, because they're so inefficient. You're not hungry because you're hungry. You're hungry because everything in your environment is sapping your energy. It's making you look old. So when you take that and you remove it out, you just stop being hungry. Now we come into the diet, the what do you eat and this and that. So once you get to that part there, now you're like, okay, now I can be more selective with what I eat because I'm not as tired. I'm not as lethargic. I'm not as drained. I feel better. Now you can start choosing. So now whenever I do finally eat on my eating day, which is every 70th or so day, like 70, 75 days, I eat about 160 different items, ranging from vitamin A through mineral zinc. I eat all those things. So it takes me about 9 hours to eat everything. So I eat very slow and methodically. Whenever I'm in between those days, okay, well, what do you do on day like 55, 30? What do you do on day like 23 or something like that? If I'm on a place with coconuts, I'll drink a bunch of coconuts, maybe some raw milk, a little bit of juice or something like that, some tea. I try to avoid water, but the primary source of where I get a lot of energy from is the sun. I have pretty white skin. My skin probably would blend in with this wall behind me, but I look pretty dark now because I spend so much time in the sun. And the sun and fresh air gives you a lot of freaking energy, especially when your mind's optimized, when your mind's not distracted by like bull crap and worry and fear and pride and ego and doubt and all this other stuff. Man, you save so much energy. It's almost like taking a Humvee car, like a vehicle, and then going on its gas mileage. But if you get like an electric car or like a Prius or some sort of like hybrid, you can go with the same amount of gas, you can go 10 times further. And that's what your life is like whenever you finally make your thoughts efficient, your atmosphere, your environment efficient. When you make everything, when you optimize everything else around you, you just go. You never get tired. Like sometimes I sleep every other day. Like I'll stay up for 2 days and then sleep at night. And I'm just not sleeping. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to not sleep. I'm not trying to not eat. I'm just not hungry. I'm not fasting. Fuck fasting. Fasting's stupid. I'm not trying to deny myself in any way. If anything, it's the opposite. I give myself everything. And because I have everything, I'm satiated. Now that I'm satiated, I can actually start the journey and not think about, fuck, I'm hungry. Oh, food. Oh, I'm tired, or this or that. And that's what we want to look at. All those things are indicators telling us the optimization of our life. If we're hungry, we're not optimized. If we're sleepy, we're not optimized. If we're thirsty, we're not optimized. So it's trying to tell us how efficient we are.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. And when you said that you stay away from water, that is because we don't get anything from water. You know,
Yeah, it raw. It steals.
Yeah.
People think the water's like this miracle thing. Water's in the air, bro. Just breathe.
Yeah, that's
It's
a fact.
everywhere. Yeah,
that's a fact. Yeah, water. And I love how you say you get most of your energy from the sun.
Yeah.
And essentially, energy. I can explain energy by energy is just the movement of electrons, right? That's essentially all energy is.
Coupling
and
and decoupling, exactly.
Yeah, and when you realize that, what else has electrons? The Earth has electrons. You know, ground yourself. You can get energy that way. You can get energy from the sun. Those are all very efficient ways to get energy. And this body's natural blueprint, you know, before all the distortions and everything came in, that's what we were doing. That's how we were living. Truly. And food converts to energy. Energy converts to movement of electrons at its core. And we can get movement from electrons in so many different ways. So many different ways. And I love how you're finding that out. Truly.
I've been at it for a long time, man. So like pretty much since I was like 6, I've been like looking at this stuff. Whenever you drink water, you get more tired. I've never drunk, like if I was thirsty, right, and I was dehydrated, I drank some water, like, oh, it feels good. But I've never drunk water and felt more energetic. Usually the more water I drink, the more lightheaded I kind of get. And then I learned at a very early age, this takes energy from me. But yeah, it might hydrate me and it might be needed, but in its recommended amount for me or people, you know, in general.
Yeah.
Every time I drink water, I usually feel more tired, which is a sign it takes energy. These are just common things that like right in front of all of us.
Yeah. And
I
with
think it's
that,
a psyop to get people to drink water because now there's so many microplastics in the water and there's so many chemicals and toxins in the water. I think it might be like a front to try to get people to drink water. Because when you talk to all the old people from back in the day, like my grandma was 96 whenever she passed away. Her sister, she had an older sister who was 104. They didn't drink water back then. It wasn't like this thing. Like, yeah, you would drink a glass maybe, but it wasn't like this whole thing. And my grandma lived to be 96, her sister 104. All the old people were kicking it. There wasn't this big mass movement for water. Where did all this water come from? Most likely the marketing company for these bottled water and stuff like that. It's probably just marketing. And now they have chemicals in it. Psyops. Most likely.
Yeah. There are a lot of things at play here for sure. And that I haven't seen that as being one of them out of my body for sure yet, but very well could be. Yeah. They definitely do things like that to try to get us off of our game. And water is essentially pointless.
Yeah. Yogis and gurus, I never hear about them drinking water. It's always like a little bit of milk, a little bit of honey, something like that. You don't hear like about yogis and gurus drinking water. They might recycle their own urine in their body, but they don't like, you don't hear about them drinking water. It's not a big thing. Why is it so? Pretty much everything that's big now in 2015 on, most likely ignore it. Kale, broccoli, water, all this other stuff. It's probably some sort of brand marketing trend to distract the people from the things that actually matter. Just breathe. Most important, way more important than water, man. You can live a week without water. You can live a month without food. You can only live a couple minutes without breath. But everyone ignores their breathing.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing when you say about energy, when you're eating, it drains your energy. People think that we get our energy from food. I know from personal experience that when I eat, I eat typically once a day. And I go on fast or where I don't eat for 2 days, 3 days throughout the week typically. And then when I finally do eat, it slows everything in my body down. It truly does. That's why when I do eat, I like to eat close to when I'm about to go to sleep, right? Later at night, I'll eat, relax for an hour, and then I'll go to bed because I'm drained after that. It literally depletes your energy for sure.
Can I help?
Yeah.
Do you eat with your hands or do you like chopsticks or like a spoon, a fork, or what? How do you eat?
Well, I'm in America, man. I eat with silverware still.
God bless them. God damn. I'm from Texas. Like, I totally understand. There's a discharge of electrons whenever metal touches this orifice here. You need salt in here because you are a battery. this thing has a current running through it. There's a constant vortex and a current. So anytime you put metal in your mouth, it deposits those electrons into whatever's conducting it, which is metal, stainless steel. So you actually will be more tired if you eat with silverware. Just eat with your hands. And then every like, I don't know, 5 minutes, just kind of get up and like move a little bit. And then whenever you eat your meal, an hour or 2 hours, however long it takes, you won't be tired anymore. You won't be tired. I promise you. You will not be. You should never be tired from eating. You should never be tired from sleeping. You never should sleep and be like, oh man, I'm more tired. Everything you do should give you energy, and you can even eat. But there's like little things. If you eat on plastic, plastic spoons, plastic forks, Teflon, all this other stuff. So it's not even the food that's doing it. It's everything that encompasses it. The food will give you energy if you do it right. If you have an intention when you bite. If you use your hands when you eat. I use my fingers whenever I eat all my food. And then you hum as you're going down and have a good intention. And then even though I eat for 9 hours, I'm still not even tired. Like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a marathon, but I had to learn that before because I was just passing out before I was even finishing my food. And then I learned these things just by like looking at, okay, what the fuck is robbing my energy? And then whenever I found it, I'm like, oh snap, it's that spoon. It's the metal. It's a conductor of electricity. My electrons in my mouth, this whole circuit here, that's going to help you big time. It's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And there's other benefits too from eating with your hands. You know, everything is alive, everything is energy, you know, so when you're touching things with your hands, it helps to build that bond with the food that you eat, setting the intention for it before it enters your body. Those are all things that help as well, for sure.
You're a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. So like at the end of your finger, you have like this electric shock. So like you can touch. That's how people do Reiki. You know, I'm not even a big believer in Reiki. I believe you shouldn't be damaged in the first place to go even need Reiki to get healed. But that's how Reiki works, is like the ends of your fingertips. You have like these like electric charges there. So when you touch people, like you zap them like a static charge. Well, when you touch your food and it goes there, you're charging your food with your fingers. And then you're eating it and you're putting it. So instead of discharging from the stainless steel when you eat with a spoon and a fork and a knife, you're actually recharging whenever you put that energy onto your food, into your mouth. Why finger food's so awesome. Hamburgers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You usually get more tired when you have been eating with silverware than when you've been eating like a hamburger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
These fingers are powerful, man. That's why they want them on your phone. That's why they want you to put your hands on this phone all day. You're a battery. You're giving energy.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. That is 100% fact. So, Mikey, so I ran into you. I've been following you for quite some time. And the reason why I followed you was as I was leaving my body, I was realizing all of these things. I realized, you know, the human body, actually, we don't need food in our natural template. I realized all of these things. So I started, you know, pressing the limits a little bit. I started eating, you know, once a day. I started then eating every other day sometimes, and 3-day fasts. And I felt great. And then I stumbled across you and I was like, wow, he's really doing it. He's figured it out to the next level. And he did it from just being in his body, right? From just seeing and observing the world around him. He was able to realize and come to the same conclusion that I did. Hey, we don't need all this stuff. Can you talk about that? So like, how did you reach to that point?
It's cool. So the way to approach it is not so much that we don't need it, it's that we need to be optimized in it. We're just doing it extremely inefficient. Like cars are very beneficial, but if we can optimize the engine and the fuel output and how we regulate everything that goes on the inside, we can make that car run for longer. So it's not that the car doesn't need gas or some sort of like electrical charge. It's that we need to optimize and utilize and make more efficient its process. So I just started breaking my life down and see, where am I inefficient at? What am I doing? What's bogging me down? And I started like scoping it like that. And once I optimized my life, I just had a bunch of energy left over. So I'm never not trying to eat. Not eating is not my goal. Like to me, in my head, not eating it doesn't make any sense. It's very irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you eat or not eat. What actually matters is, do you have enough energy to pay attention mentally? Because you can do a 10-day fast, but if your brain's like mush at the end of it, you're like, oh, my blood sugar's low and everything else, then you weren't even living life. The only life you live is a life that you were paying attention to. Time will pass you by. You wake up one day like, where the fuck have I been? That's what we call being asleep. They were still awake. They were still here. They just didn't have the energy to be critical in their thinking or to be attentive or to be aware. So whenever you garner as much energy as you can from optimizing your life, you have all this energy left over. Now you don't have to eat as much. So whenever you do eat, you and I can eat the same thing, but I'll get a different energy output from it than you would, because all the functions in my body are brought into a higher state of functionality. So we're still eating the same thing. This is why I say calories are even stupid, because it's not even about what's the caloric value of something. It's about what's the optimization of our body's digestive ability to extract power, divert power, and sustain power. So it's more an approach of, okay, how can this be optimized? How can that be optimized? So there's certain things that I don't eat. There's certain things I stay away from. There's certain things that I do. There's certain ways that I sleep. You know, I black out my room, all this other stuff. So that's kind of what started. Because I was balding. I was losing my hair. I grew all my hair back here in the front. I didn't have this hair here. All this hair I was bald. And I grew my hair back. I had bleeding tonsils. My eyesight was dimming. I had to wear glasses. I don't have to wear glasses anymore. My lover, her gums were bleeding. I had candida. I started seeing all these problems, and I'm like, I'm tired of this stuff, man. This can't be true. There has to be a better way. So I started just taking inventory of my life and just looking at everything, just shuffling through. What's ineffective? What can I live without? What do I need? Do I actually need that? Or am I just saying I'm lying that I need that? Okay, cool. Let's be real. And I did it with my thoughts. I did it with my emotions. I did it with my house and my life and everything else. And I just reduced myself to its like lowest denominator and then built back up from there. And now I was eating one day and I just noticed I'm not hungry. Why am I eating? And then I kept extending it and extending it. I went from like 1 meal a day to 1 meal every 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 20 days. And now I'm on every 70 days. I eat once every 70 days. So this year I'll probably eat like 6 times this year.
Wow.
Same thing with go ahead. Sorry.
No, keep going.
Same thing with semen retention, man. I was like, why do I keep giving up this fluid? Because I noticed that every time I like give up this fluid, I get tired, I get drained. I'm like, oh man, it's like, why am I giving it to so many like girls and people and just even myself? Why am I like ejaculating so much? Like I started just taking inventory. The more energy you hold on to, the more you're just aware of like what you're doing. Like, why am I doing this? Like, if anything, we should question ourselves. We should interrogate ourselves every day. Why am I doing this? Why? Yeah, for money, okay, or for that, or for love, or for this. Yeah, but why? We mean why? I give you the answer. No, what's the real reason? Okay, it's actually this. What's the real answer? Okay, it's actually this. And you keep going down layers and layers of like why you do what you do. And you find out how inefficient your desires are because they actually hold you back from yourself. You usually only want to desire because you don't want to spend time with yourself. You push yourself away from yourself. So if I have a PS5 or if I have a travel, a vacation or whatever, it occupies me versus me occupying me because I don't believe that I'm interesting, worthy, or even valuable enough to obtain my own attention. So when you cut off everything that separates you from yourself and you embrace yourself, you get to keep all the energy and you're just not tired anymore. You just go. Just go and go and go.
Yeah. That is very beautiful.
That's our life.
Yeah,
man. This is the normal life. We're all supposed to be living this. This is normal.
Yeah, it is. And back to energy draining things. Everything is draining, and I love how you're thinking for yourself. Essentially, you're not paying attention to what the media is telling you to do. You're not paying attention to what doctors say. You're thinking for yourself.
They all look dead.
Yeah,
all of them look dead. All of them look dead, bro. Or they have fillers all in them. Like you look fake. No hate on them. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking in my eyes. I'm like, I don't want to look like that.
Yeah. So why would you listen to them?
Exactly. Right. Why would I listen to somebody who doesn't have what I want? That doesn't make sense. I see all these health people out there, and I have so many DMs that people are like, Mikey, what should I do? Should I fast? Should I do this? And I'm like, look at the people who are giving you the advice. Do you want to look like that person? They're like, no. Well, then stop freaking listening to them. The people who fast the most usually look the most drained and they look the most tired. The people who are working out the most look the most swollen. They're like, So it's like when you start to finally have the energy to see, it's like, I don't even want what you have. But then you have the energy to think. You're like, I only wanted what they had because I don't know myself and I don't want to spend time with me. I don't value me. Just listen to yourself, man. You're speaking louder than you think. And trust me, you want to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For
Uh,
sure. And
I have a few questions. First of all, Mikey, thank you for being with us. It's amazing
Pleasure.
having you. I watched a few of your interviews as well. I got the guide and the menu stuff, the meal plan. I got the digital version because I don't like waiting for stuff to get in the mail. I want to get right on it. But you said a bunch of things that I wanted to let's get into it. Number one,
Yeah.
that sitting with yourself, like being able to be aware of, I'm downloading a book also, and it's coming in, and the biggest message out of the whole premise is self-awareness, and everything in this realm speaks the opposite of that, from relationships, from family, from you name it. Everything is pulling you away from having the ability to be aware enough of yourself, because once you're aware of your current state, which for the most part, when you become aware, you don't like where you're at. If you really go through them layers of truths, you could say to yourself, hey, that some changes need to be made. And like you, I've been doing work since the early 2000s. I've been aware, and I still have layers of things that occupy that time so that I don't have to look at myself. And you know what? I'm way ahead of the game on that because I'm super aware. Not to the well, I went through the list, of your list. You said, well, the first thing that you would have to do would be to kind of declutter your space, right? And not you don't use the word declutter. I'm just it's not verbatim, but you're like, and I went down the list, and I probably have to, and I didn't even show my wife the list because we probably, wouldn't be, but that's number one. I definitely would like for you to expand on that when you get a chance. And I have a question for you. So you don't eat because you're super energized, and the reason we eat is to supply our bodies with energy, right? So I see the comments in our group, in our chat, and people are saying, well, he's got to drink something. So you're not you drink milk, you drink shakes, you do, or it's just straight up energy, sun, coconut water. What is it? No protein intake, no vitamin other than on that day, the day that you eat.
Okay, great questions. Well, first off, Bam, it's a pleasure to have you in the family, man. I love you. Blessings on you and your wife. I'm super proud of you for just doing this for yourself, for wanting to be self-aware of yourself. And like you said, we kind of never arrive. We are still, even since the early 2000s, and we're doing this, we're still having to be self-aware every single day.
Every day.
And the funny thing is like the moment we go to be with ourselves or be self-aware, ding, this, that, all the noise, everyone trying to drag us out. It's like when we want to go and like hang out with people, what's up, guys? Nah, I'm busy tonight. I'm busy. But the moment we go to like be self-aware with self, everything in this mama comes out as like, yo, I need you here and there. So it really is an attack on our attention. There's some sort of, I won't say ominous, but like some sort of invisible thing out there looking at us. And I think the test is when we go to be self-aware and we sit with ourselves, are we actually going to value that time with ourselves and stay there? Or is the moment something pops up, or we're going to go run to it? So like that's the test, second by second, moment by moment, day by day. And I'm right there with you, man. I'm still having to be self-aware every single day. So I think you're doing a great job,
I think because that's also the plan. The plan is for us to be. That's life. Being aware is being alive. So it's not you can never lose that aspect of yourself. And my family is very religious, and because they already made their decision, they're going to heaven. So it's a very rudimentary type approach that really completely keeps you unaware, because you already got there and there's nothing else to do. I'm just here praising and waiting for the day, you know, and that's so counterproductive to living, because living is about being aware. But if you got your phone in your hand, you know, you have all these commitments. Obviously, I'm in America too, so like you said, you know, and I tell my wife I want to move out of America stat, you know. Andre was about to too, you know. It's that we really, you know, we're feeling it heavy, you know. We're feeling
Come
it
out,
heavy.
bro. Come hang out
Yeah,
with me.
all right. Don't tempt me. I'll take the whole family.
Come on, bro. Houses, I travel the world, so I got plenty of space, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the invite. So as far as the drinking, what is it that you're drinking? Anything? Fruit juice? Anything?
Yeah, for sure. I was going to go in order of everything that you just said, but like, yeah. So we actually don't eat for energy. We eat for reconstruction. You have energy. Everyone has energy, right? So there's some basic things that we need to understand so this makes sense. So you don't eat for energy. That's why you stay hungry, because you eat for energy, not for reconstruction. You eat to get the building blocks of your life so you can regenerate your eyes, your hair, your skin, your heart, your lungs, and everything else. So you're eating for that specific compound that connects with this next compound that makes stem cells and eyes and teeth and enamel and everything else. So that's why you eat. So if you haven't been eating that way, you will always be hungry. So when you go without eating, you'll break down really quick and start to age fast because you haven't been eating in the proper way. So when you have been eating that way, you stop getting hungry, and now I'm not as hungry anymore. And in that time in between, I only intake for cognition. So I do not take meal replacements. I do not take smoothies or shakes. I will have some raw milk if I can find some raw milk. But I primarily will intake things like coconuts, fruit juice, which I don't recommend fruit juice if you are eating. I don't want to encourage you guys to stop eating and drink fruit juice. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you should never be hungry in the first place. Do that. So until you're hungry, eat every single day and only eat solid food. Do not juice anything. Do not extract liquids from anything. Eat the orange, eat the apple. Do not drink apple juice. Do not drink orange juice. I cannot stress that enough. But once you get out into this realm of out here, which takes about 2 years, after you've been doing the guide for 2 years, then you can start talking about coming out here. Then at that point, yeah, I do drink things like, what I'll do is I'll get different types of fruit and I'll juice them and I'll freeze it, and then I'll intake that frozen substance as some sort of solid so my jaw doesn't like atrophy and wither. My teeth and my lymphatic system stays pumping from chewing. So I'll freeze juice as ice, and then I'll eat ice technically. But I'll also do that because I can drink juice in like 1 second. So if I had a gallon of juice, I can literally drink that in like maybe 30 seconds. So I freeze it. So that same liter that I had, usually about 800 milliliters to like, a liter, it might take me an hour to consume the whole piece of ice versus the juice would take me literally 30 seconds. So I do that to like create a threshold or like govern myself. I only intake those things when I'm noticing a depletion in my cognitive functions. I don't do it for energy. I already have energy. If I don't have energy, I go and monitor some other part of my life. I'm like, what's happening? Is it negative thoughts? Is it chemicals? Is it something else? But then when I'm observing everything, because I stay in the present moment, like you were saying, I stay in observation mode. So as I'm staying in observation mode, are my critical thinking abilities high or are they low? If they start to deplete and get lower, then I'll intake some sort of coconut or tea or something like that, or the juice or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And as far as the list and like bringing everything else out, I have a list in the beginning of the guide. The guide's the step-by-step process. It's the formula of how to get here, right? So the whole guide, the meal plan and everything else. In the beginning of the guide, I give you a giant list of things to remove, not necessarily for decluttering or becoming a minimalist, but it's because those things are toxic and they kill you. The longer you keep these things in your environment, it kills your brain cells. It literally causes oxidation in your brain, and that's going to lead towards Alzheimer's, dementia, stuff like that, to where you have brain fog, you're tired all the time, you have hormonal imbalances. So I have that list to be, hey, remove these things, because those things are actually silently killing you in the background and you don't know it. That's it. I don't care. You could be a materialist. You can have 10 Ferraris, a big house. I don't care about the material stuff. I just want you to remove anything that kills you, because I don't want you guys to die. I want you to live.
I understand that to be so. And then, it's just, if you look at research and all that, all this plastics, when they get heated up, they release all these substances. And I've been working on that before I found you, but I never realized how many layers of it we live under. So that was a good list. It's pretty, like I said, I didn't even show it to old girl yet. Well, we'll see.
Take your time, man. Sometimes it's you have to introduce it softly, because a lot of people don't want to give up these things. Because we've been manipulated to love our captors, love our slave masters. Oh, I don't want to give up this. But that's causing your infertility. Yeah, but I have to give up my makeup, or like the plastic, or the top. It's so easy. My cleansers and my face cleansers and my dishwashing soap and like my fabric salt, I got to give all this stuff up. It's literally causing you to be overweight. That's why you have weight issues. That's why you have brain fog. That's why you have insomnia, because these very things here, but people don't want to let them go. And I say that you have fallen in love with your captor. You have Stockholm syndrome, the very thing that has been killing you and murdering you. You now love it. And now the company's like, oh yeah, cool. We have a customer for life now, like literally until they die. So we gotta remove that chain of loving the thing that kills us and start loving ourselves more than the thing, whatever it may be.
You are a phenomenal example of what we are all trying to get to, which is remembrance. That there is so much potential, because everything is a potentiality where we live. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I think I said it in one of my videos. I said, but I was in a meeting and I was just tired of what was going on there, and I was ready to fly away from there. But because my brain, because I fly out of the body anytime I exit, like that's my modem of transportation. I pick up and fly. So I'm used to seeing myself moving at high speeds, and then so I think that's the next stage of humanity, is to really get rid of limitations 100%. And you show it with your with understanding that there is abundance, and all you do is you open yourself to that abundance. So we have a phenomenal group of people that want to hear about that. How can I tap into, because our podcast was made for these three topics: the out of body state, the near death experiences, and then the in body state, right? So we want to take all these different teachings, and the reason I bought the guide is because I don't know anything yet. I'm like a little kid. I feel I'm open to learning. So I hear that you got some wisdom to share, and I want to know, and I just read but anyways, can you give us a little bit on how do we open up to this abundance and the in-body experience, and we can then go ahead and have the freedom, because it's easier said than done. For our viewers and for people that are still in the matrix, it's way easier for you that already have worked out your kinks to say it. Now we have people saying, well, I still got to go to work. I still got a pantry full of shit. This is the life I always lived. So how do we start, remembering that there is plentifulness and abundance?
That's a great question. Okay, I'm going to start this out by saying I am not judging anybody, okay? I'm not judging. I love you guys. Everyone's amazing. I only want the best for everybody. So with that being stated, we have to understand this. You're only still at the job because you haven't done it yet. You're only still experiencing what you're experiencing because you haven't done this over here. So how long are you going to tolerate that job? So the person works the job, and instead of going and trying to find a way out, they just stay where they are. They distract themselves, or they turn on Netflix, or they turn on the TV or whatever. That's only going to keep you where you are. Almost like the whole like religious stuff, right? Like the family is complacent. They have their ticket to heaven. They clocked out. You don't clock out. Your soul never wants to clock out. Your soul, even whenever, I'm sure you guys know this, even whenever you go to sleep, your soul is still awake. You're still dreaming. You're still tethered. You're still tied. So at all times, the soul wants to operate. So you have to make sure that you give yourself enough attention. Now, going back to the toxins list, that in and of itself is going to help everybody here. Just period. I'll give you some toxins. Your curtains, soaps, detergents, deodorant, plastics, Teflon, lotions, all that stuff there. You are an absorption mechanism. So anything in your environment that breaks apart or leaches, you will absorb it into your body. When it absorbs into your body, it affects your brain. Everything affects everything. So if you're eating non-stick Pam olive oil, if you're intaking non-stick Teflon pans, it is affecting your brain and its ability to operate at its highest frequency. It is what it is. If you put on deodorant, you're affecting your brain's highest frequency. If you're putting on makeup, it's affecting your brain's highest frequency. If you're putting on lotion, everything is affecting you. So if you want to get to that state to where you even have the energetic ability, what I mean is not even the knowledge, just the energy to even start, you have to take out what's robbing you of this energy. Deodorants, colognes, sprays, perfumes, processed foods, packaged foods, meal replacements, all that stuff. You have to remove all that, because even though it gives you a false sense of energy, it's borrowed energy. You're going to have to pay for it later. So you want to make sure that everything in your environment is of the earth. It's just natural. Sun, air, water, whatever you have. Once you do that, you'll now even have the cognitive capacity to start understanding and learning and growing on how to have these greater experiences, out of body, in body, and everything else. So that's the start. You have to take out everything that's robbing you of energy, or you just won't have the energy to do this. Because I'm here, and I'm now here, right? But like I start the podcast, I'm a normal guy. I had my job, I had my stuff. I used lotions and hair care products and all this. I put it all over my body, the soaps and everything else. But I was tired. Just bam, just like you. I was tired as well. I'm like, now I'm going to do this anymore. So once I cut all that stuff out, and it was hard. It took me 2 years to do everything. It took me, because you have to do it at the pace that you want to do. If you do something you don't want to do, then you violate yourself and you end up hating yourself, and that makes life harder. Only do what you're ready to do. If you're not ready to do this, it's okay. But just acknowledge that this does need to be done, and whenever it's time, I will do it. I'm ready. And nurture yourself. You have to see yourself as valuable and worthy for this to be done for. When you start valuing yourself more and seeing yourself as worthy, it's easier to give up these things that kill you. But the moment you get rid of these things, I'm talking about, it's an instant change. I have people, they throw away all this stuff. Sometimes the same day, they're like, I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. I lost 3 pounds. Same day. And with that extra 3 pounds lost, you save so much energy. Then like, okay, now I'm ready for meditation. And then I'll guide them in the meditations to do. So that's the start. Just throw away all the toxins and chemicals in your house. Throw them, you don't need them. Trust me. They weren't here 100 years ago. All this shit's new. All this stuff's invented. You don't need it. Our ancestors didn't need it. It's just another product for people to get money off of you, okay? Just throw the chemicals away. That's the start.
So what do you brush your teeth with?
I make my own I make my own toothpaste out of like bentonite clay, neem, and stuff like that. I have like a whole ingredients list. It's actually in the guide. It's all the ingredients that we use.
Yeah, I'll get there. I was just saying, people got to get to the office. We want to make sure, they're not, hitting people with the dragon.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. A person only has bad breath because they have, how do I say this? They don't have the proper bacteria inside of their gut to kill things that cause bad breath, halitosis, strep, and everything else. So whenever you intake things like ginger, whenever you intake things like cardamom or whatever, those things there, turmeric, black pepper, stuff like that, those things end up killing bad breath. So you won't even have bad breath. You shouldn't, Everything is assigned to you. So if your armpits stink, that's your body trying to tell you, hey, something's wrong. Not that you need to cover it or mask it, that something's missing. If you have bad breath or yellow teeth, that's your body trying to get your attention. Hey, a compound is missing. When you give yourself all these compounds, I just had a new lover over the other day. She came, she flew all the way in, and she was with me for like 4 days. She's like, oh my God, you smell so good. I don't use soap. And she's just like, I don't know if it was my pheromones or what. She could not get enough of me. She's like, you smell so good. You smell like earth, and like, she said crushed diamonds. That's what was her like phrasing. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. Crushed diamonds, that's new for me. But you should naturally be smelling good. Your natural scent is to smell good. It's only when you add in all these toxins and chemicals and processed foods that you end up having these smells. So you'd find out that when you live this life here, a lot of the need for stuff like conglomerate toothpaste or body spray or whatever, the need for it goes away because you don't smell. Your breath doesn't smell. Your teeth stay white, and you don't need those things like normal. You can use a toothbrush. You don't even need toothpaste. But you got to get to that level, though. You got to start finding out, oh, snap, my breath smells? Why? Where is it coming in at? Where is it happening at? Oh, my armpits smell? Oh, I have a fungal overgrowth? And once you find the source of it, you cut it off, and then like you never deal with it again. Now you save all that time and energy and money.
Andre, what's your take on, and I just wanna hear you with all this. You know, I know that you're already experiencing a lot of these changes. You know, where and this is just open. You know, I'm not just going with Andre, but you know, when you become aware, because one part of me says, you know, that's a lot of information to be aware of. That's one part of me. But there's another quiet voice in me that already know a lot of this, you know, and I say that, you know, full disclosure, I'm very honest. If you watch my videos, you know my whole story. I don't hold bars. It is what it is. So right now, I know for a long time, I've been knowing how, and I speak about this with Andre in private, but my eating, I known for a long time that it's one of the things that have become like, it kind of holds me down a little bit, my energy from really shooting up the way that I want to. And you know, I love where I'm at. Like you said, I have no problem with my life. Like I learned how to be accepting of what is, but I know that there's always a new stage in life to attain, you know, which is life, to live at a higher degree of living, which is more satisfaction, more peace. You know, that's number one in my household. We're not going to fight. We're going to talk, and we're going to talk with the kids. We're going to talk with each other, but we're going to keep this a place of peace. And so Andre, what's up?
What's up, man? What's up? So my take on it is, essentially, I have a different approach, but we still get to the same destination, right? My approach is, you just do it, right? You just kind of claim it. You just know these things, and you just kind of do it. But it's interesting. I really enjoy hearing him explain it, the different levels and exactly the root causes of all of these things, you know, for sure. But from what I know from the out-of-body state, we literally have the ability to just claim these things and to just say, end it, right? With just our authority and our belief system, essentially. Yeah, but hearing how he explains it, how, you know, there is a root cause to your armpit stinking, that, you know, or if your breath stinks, there is a root cause to these things, for sure. And I love how you break that down, Mikey, for sure.
I can do it a little bit more simplistic if you guys want. I can give like a one-word thing if you guys want that, because I have something a little bit deeper, but I don't know how deep.
No, go deep. We don't like it.
Go deep.
Yeah.
Like, metaphorically speaking, for an example, You only stink because you hate yourself. That's it. Your breath only stinks because you hate yourself. Your teeth are only rotting because you hate yourself. That's the manifestation of you hating because you hate yourself, therefore your hair falls out. Because you hate yourself, you're aging and dying. Every effect that you're seeing that contracts you or makes you look closer to death is because you first clicked, switch on, pull the lever up for self-hate. And that's the manifestation or the outcome of the choice that you made. But the moment you love yourself, all this stuff's reversed. I've had people regenerate their teeth. I grew my hair back. I look younger now. I mean, everything changes. It's a binary universe. It's zeros and ones. It's yes or no. It's either or. And it's either you are living in self-hate, second by second, moment by moment, choosing it, or self-love. This choice could have been in love, that one in hate. This one in love, that one in hate. When you have more hate than love, you age and you have no energy. When you have more love than hate, you stay vibrant and then you have a bunch of energy. So it's just, its most simplistic form, it's just self-hate.
So you're saying that our choices of consumption is a mirror of our self-love. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes, 100%. When you love yourself, I can't even drag myself to eat, bro. I'm just so satisfied with myself. And people will call it, I think that's why they put the term narcissism and stuff out there, is because, like, don't you love yourself, especially in like religion. Oh, you're a filthy sinner. Your righteousness is like filthy rags. You sinner, you're bad. You bad man, so bad.
Yeah,
you narcissist. And they'll get you to think this about yourself, because in that manipulation, if you don't trust yourself, then you'll listen to everybody else, and then they have you. But the moment you just love yourself, like I'm not a narcissist. I just love myself. And when you love yourself, you listen. When you listen, it shows you the way. And whenever you're shown the way, it's like you're just not hungry. You're not tired. You're not sleepy. You're not aging. You're regenerating. You don't have to wear glasses anymore. You don't have to. Everything. It's just either you're in self-love or you're in self-hate, and everything is speaking to you. And so far, I just love myself enough to where I can go 70 days, but there's still probably people out there who can go, 70 years without eating. This is at what level we're all at in self-love. Our goal in life our only goal in life should be to love ourselves. Not like, oh, it's my birthday, I'm going to turn up, let me get a bottle. No, but like love myself, like I am my baby. Like a physical infant baby, right? Like a 1-year-old.
Like nourishing, pampering.
Exactly. You're not going to give that baby some Jack and Coke. You're not going to give that baby like a menthol or a cigarette. You're going to take care of that baby. You're going to take care of that child. You're that baby, and you have to start seeing yourself like that, because when you see yourself like that baby, then you have compassion. When you have that compassion, you'll start making these choices. Those choices conserve energy, and in the conservation of energy, you actually regenerate into the next moment, and now you can potentially live forever. Now eternity is a possibility, but it's the state that you're choosing to live in second by second, moment by moment.
I love this information coming through right now, because in America, we have Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, all these huge corporations meeting with President Trump as we speak, letting him know how, get America ready for the shelves being empty, with all this China trade and all that good stuff. A lot of people might be eating sun, before you know it. Honestly, the nourishing, we're gonna have to deep, dig. I'm not negative at all, and I believe in the power of creation, how we can really turn our universe to whatever we want it to be. Right? That's my belief, is that consciousness dictates your reality, right? But we're facing some times right now in America, and it's been by economists, it's been forecast for a long time that America is overdue for famine. And I'm not putting fear out there, but guys, listen to this stuff, because the day that you cannot, that you go to that grocery store and it's closed and the shelves are empty, what are you going to do then? You're going to have to go dig in and really search this information within you and activate that soul within you that can sustain you. So, I'm so turned on to this, just because it's my next step in my, I enjoy the out of body state, the in body state. I love watching people, visit all these different realms but we're here. You know what I mean? My favorite topic is the in-body experience, because this is where our consciousness is engaging. So this is where life is happening right now. So having these conversations where we really tease the brain to, hey, there is a greater level of life that you are leaving on the table. Let's go deep now that we don't have to do it, and understand that we can tap into the soul within before we really have to. And we're gonna, I hope, that we all have to, so that we finally unite in thought, in heart, in mind, so that we can become one mind. But go ahead.
I'm just agreeing with you. I think it's amazing. Yeah. This is like, you're either going to come to this conclusion or your life's going to be concluded. The only way to continue living is to be aware of where you are now. And if at any point in time you opt out, the person wakes up one day, now they have a terminal disease. They have a terminal sickness. How did this happen? Well, you fell asleep at the wheel. So you either going to come to this conclusion of paying attention to yourself, or your life is going to be concluded in itself. So I'm just agreeing. I think what you're saying is like right on point. Like no matter what happens, it all happens for your benefit. And I know that this is an out-of-body experience podcast, so like we can talk about this. Like, I personally do have out-of-body experiences where I speak to like stars and spirits and souls and also their stuff, but they're all jealous of us. The out-of-body stuff wants to be in our body. This is where possession comes, because we're in the best place in all the universe. We actually have the body and the maneuverability to operate in full effect in the physical realm. It's either spiritual or physical. But what's physical is already spiritual, but not everything spiritual can be physical. So they're jealous of us. When I speak to these stars and stuff like that, they want to be where we are. So we can take that information and use it. But remember, you're in the prime position in all of creation to be able to have this body and maneuver it. Utilize it. If you can manifest with your consciousness, then please do it. Create that life. Open it up. Go against the market. If you can influence the market in your favor, do it by all means. And if you need to go out of body to get the information of how to do it, maybe like Nikola Tesla saying how he does and stuff like that, then utilize it, but don't sleep on it. It's something to know, but it's another thing to operate in. A lot of people know about NASCAR or Formula One or MotoGP, but they can never operate like the pros. It's one thing to know, it's another thing to operate. Make yourself a pro so you can operate by default to where your default setting becomes the setting of a master. That's what life is. That garners eternity, and that's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, beautifully said, Mikey. Now, I watched your interview with Beyond the Frequency 369, and in it, I heard you talking about how once you tweak your body to this state, once you take out all these toxins, once your body's operating at this natural frequency that it should be, how you become more sensitive to things, how you can sense the energy where you are. You mentioned traveling different places. You mentioned being able to tune into your guest's thought forms and feeling what he's seeing, being into his dimensional spaces and tuning into different things. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything here's what, in the newest season of my life, here's the newest revelation, the newest download. Everything is, and this is going to be basic right here, this line. Everything is energy, but everything is, all that energy is speaking, and it's telling you what it is. It's our ability to be able to decipher and properly interpret what that energy is telling us that it is. So like I say, one of my lovers flew out the other day and she was here with us. I asked her like, hey, well, I didn't even know that she had a brother or family or like sisters and like stuff like that, like siblings. But one of my other lovers like, hey, do you have any brothers and sisters? She's like, oh yeah, I have this many, blah, 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 blah. So she's like, the one younger than me is my little brother. And then I'm like, is his name this? And she's like, what the fuck? That's his, I guessed his exact name because the energy when she said little brother said this name. That name is Jimmy. She said little brother. I said, is his name Jimmy? She's like, yeah, that's what we call him. That's our nickname for him. So like whenever you understand that everything's speaking, little brother said by her is Jimmy. So everything that someone's telling you, the energy that they're saying it is telling you what they're meaning. So they can tell you this, but the energy can only constitute what it is. Energy can never lie about itself. So when you garner the ability of interpretation, you hear what the person's saying, but you listen to what the energy is telling you what it actually is. And now you can you almost like skate on reality now. Now you always know the answer. Now you always know what's going on. I've been able to do that with people like psychic abilities and knowing their bodies and stuff like that. All you're trying to do is open yourself up so your sensory perception grasps the furthest extent of what energy is, and you can correctly interpret it. Whenever you do that, there's no more accidents. There's no more bad investments. There's no more sleepless nights. There's no more tragedies or woes or sorrows. Now you knew everything before it's coming, so you can see off in the distance, oh, I see a storm, I'm gonna pack an umbrella. Oh, I see a storm, I know how to modulate storms and turn it the opposite way. So everything you're doing in the purity of your life and coming into this state is so you can have the most power. All that's happening in life, this is what's actually happening. Whatever you want to believe, like God or source or whatever, God put you here to be a God, and it's trying to give you God powers. But every time you accept self-hate versus self-love, fake artificial crap versus natural organic stuff, you're accepting humanity versus God. And God's trying to give you God. And God's almost kind of offended that you're not taking it. You keep choosing fake man-made crap over what it gave you that's going to increase your divine abilities. The sun is divine. The air is divine. The wind is divine. A Snicker bar, M&M, makeup covering your face, all stuff is not, it's literally man-made. So it's not even just bringing you to a point out of divinity, it's suppressing you and it's killing you in your humanity. So instead of you living eternally in your divinity, you're dying in your humanity. Be humane, bro, be humane. Stop focusing on this. What about the other people? You'll be able to help more people. Let's say Jesus, right? Jesus was able to help more people living in divinity than he was trying to relate with humanity. Because he even said, how long must I be with these people? He's like, they ain't getting it there. They keep acting like humans. Nothing wrong with humans, but every choice you make that's artificial, a construct of man, the ideology of man, religion, church, this, even technology, science, and whatever they're saying, these thought constructs of man and these ideologies and these genres, you dwell deeper into humanity, and that's why they kill you. Look at the scientists. I'm not even against them, but like every scientist looks like they've had their soul drained by Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. They're just wrinkled up. They're just like a grape, because everything they're doing is artificial. It's for the construct and the pride of man. But whenever you tap into that divinity, all of a sudden you know people's names. How the fuck would I know? I didn't even know she had a brother. How would I even know his name out of the? I don't know how many names exist in the world, but especially if it's like an English name, there's probably hundreds of thousands of English names out there. Jimmy, John, Jacob, just in J's, right? There's a lot just in J's. How would I know her brother's name whenever I didn't even know she had a brother? That's because the energy will always tell you. So if the energy is always telling you, there's nothing that you need to remember. There's nothing you need to work for. There's nothing you need to study. There's nothing you need to try to give your energy to work hard and grind. All you have to do is continue to stay open in the energy, and you know all things, and it flows through you the easiest. And that's whenever you don't get tired anymore. I have more energy now than I did at the beginning of this podcast, because I'm not working. I'm not saying anything. I'm just letting it speak. And I haven't eaten in so many days. And like here we are, an hour and 8 minutes in, I have more energy now than when we started. Where's my energy coming from? I haven't drunk anything. I didn't eat. It's because when you open yourself up and you just let it go and you let it go through, it gives you as it passes, versus whenever you do something you're not supposed to do, it takes as it passes. Like the water we were talking about, water takes from you. If you do things you were never supposed to do, it takes energy from you, and you wake up one day and you look wrinkled and old. Like, what happened? But whenever you continually live in that divinity, it actually gives you more than it takes. You earn a profit more than a deficit, and now you have more left over at the end of the day than less left over at the end of the day. And that's your gauge. Am I living or am I dying?
Beautiful. Beautiful said. And it's so interesting for me personally to hear you say these things, that you're unlocking and you're able to tap into these things in the physical, right? When I leave my body and I come back with a lot of abilities from my soul. I operate in my soul's frequency. I have the ability to sense energy within people. I can see potential futures. Like you said, you can see the storm coming, right? So all of these things that you're tapping into, I like to say the veil is then gone. And now you are able to operate and to see things happening from outside of the physical, right? And you can implement these things in the real life. But I find it so fascinating how you were able to get there solely just by clearing out your body, changing your mind, your way of thinking. And now you're able to know your girlfriend's brother's name without ever meeting her. It's beautiful.
Look at all
It's
this
really
time
beautiful.
it saves now that she doesn't tell me that stuff. Now I could probably know his backstory, his love language. So if I ever meet him, I know how to treat him, how to approach him, how to make him not be intimidated, how to make him feel loved. Now there's a lot of things that I can bypass. I don't have to waste time trying to do these things that would have actually held me back or could have destroyed our relationship. Just from that one thing. When you apply that to everything, you save energy on every single level. That's what it is to be divine. Now, and it may not even have been for her brother, but that might have been the confirmation she needed to understand this energy is real. You were always in it. You were born with it. You were always in it. It's just the chemicals. I won't even say the teaching or school. It is literally chemical, molecular compounds that have been bonded together that are non-natively occurring in this realm that stunt you. And that's why you don't have your psychic ability or whatever it is that you're looking.
Yeah, and they know this too. They put the metals in the water. They know all this, and that's why it's in the consumables that's given to the general public for sure. And
Yeah, if
that
you were all
does have a
psychic, then dude, you'd be a force to be reckoned with. But because there's chemicals, guess what? You're more hungry. Now you're more tired. Now you're more anxious. Now you're more emotional. Now you're more irrational. Irrational. If I was to get in a combatants with somebody who was irrational, it's very easy to win because you can tell they're not focused. But if you have a person who is completely rational, seeing all points and even into dimensionally, like deep depth within, that's a hard person to beat. Chess or any game, like fighting, striking, whatever. You want people irrational and emotional. That's the easiest way to win against them. But if everyone's stoic and they have control over their emotions and they can see things, they have premonitions and they have
Intuition.
Intuition, but like precognition. They know things before it even happen. How could they win? They can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you put metal in the water, you put it in their alcohol, you put it in their food, you put it
In the toothpaste.
toothpaste, drinking, vapes, fucking smoking, lotions, heavy metals in the lipstick. Because if a girl puts on lipsticks, she's going to eat it. It's going to get in her mouth, and it just takes a tiny microparticle. But they're just slathering it on.
And that's a blunt attack on the physicality of us, because we Andre's saying, like, I don't, we are a braid with our soul and the life force. It's not separate, so it's because it's within this vessel, so it has to be attack on it. If we, they have to attack now. And we know when we said they, everybody have their interpretation of who they are, but we know who they are, and those are the systems of control that don't want for humanity to live to their highest potential. I don't understand why, and I think it's that control, feeding off of our energy, because we are energy producing, like you said. We're the energy doesn't come from anywhere but from here. Same as every other element around us is spelling or it's spewing out some frequency, a level of frequency, and those, because I believe that they are so dissonant because they are not natural, that they get to our energy and keep our energy there, like
Exactly. So that should be enough motivation for us to stay pure. We already know they exist. They're already doing shit. They've been here. Their family lineage has been here for like 100 years so far. So use that, wrap that shit up as motivation, and cause yourself to be pure, cause yourself to be light. Like, stop putting on cologne and perfume and this, and like why are you giving in to them? Every time you use their product, you're bowing down and kissing their feet. I know you're my captor. I know you put heavy metals in the stuff, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Thank you, Johnson & Johnson. Thank you, BlackRock. Thank you, Colgate. Thank you, DuPont. Oh, I said all their names. Oh my gosh. Thank you,
now you drop them. You drop them.
What do you want me to say, bro? They're not even my enemy. The only enemy is me, because I know that's bad.
I willingly cooperate with the here. Do it.
Yeah, willingly cooperated with them. It's not even their fault. It's mine. I'm not even blaming them. I'm the dummy who keeps doing it. Why am I doing this? Oh, because I don't know myself. Then spend some time with yourself and meditate. Because once
it goes back to when you said,
once you spend some time and you meditate and you get to know yourself, you'll actually like yourself. You're actually a pretty cool person. You're a pretty cool dude or a pretty cool gal. You'll actually be like, you know what? I'm really interesting. Let me turn off the TV. Let me spend some time with myself and learn me. Because you're very interesting. You're made by God or source or universe. You're the fucking star. You are everything. You have all the same compounds that stars have in them. You're interesting as fuck. Get to learn yourself. Because I'm telling you what, I've been in this for a long time. Since I was 6. I'm 36 now, so 30 years. I'm still learning new stuff, even just about breathing. You are so interesting. Go on a date with yourself at your house and in the dark and just sit and just speak with yourself inside. That's that astral body. Fuck the stars for now. Stars, I love you. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate that. But fuck the stars. Just listen to yourself for just 1 second, because you are so goddamn interesting. You deserve it.
Beautiful. And it goes back to what you said. It all boils down to you hating yourself or you loving yourself. You know, if you love yourself, you're not going to do these things.
It wouldn't make sense. Why would you if you love yourself? I wouldn't give my baby poison. Heavy metal. Hey, toddler, here, have some mercury. Go ahead, just chew on that. Here, have some lead. You're stuck on this lead pacifier.
So, Mikey, I have to ask you, as people always often ask me, okay, so you know all of this information from the other side and things. What are you doing with it? What are you chasing? And my response is always, I'm done with this game. I don't really chase material things here anymore, really. But how has knowing this and how has these mentalities, how has this shaped your physical reality? How has your life changed going this route?
Well, I have a super fit body without working out. It's insanely ridiculously muscular. So I have my dream body. I have my dream girls. I have multiple anime girls from, the cartoons I used to watch as a kid. I stay in big houses and I travel the world. So, I mean, everything is telling on itself. I'm on a fucking island with the sun now. The water's blue. I'm just chilling. There's no cloud in the sky. I have a bunch of energy. I feel great. I feel elated. I get a lot of love. So, I'm turning this at my own rate into the Garden of Eden. I'm trying to.
You're heaven on earth. You're heaven on earth.
Exactly.
You're heaven on earth.
I'm going into the astral realm, pulling this information in, not just to know it, not even just to share it. I don't even share this stuff. Like, unless you guys, were so gracious enough to invite me on, Andre, I appreciate you, Bam, thank you guys so much. I would never share this with people. Like, they have to find me because I'm not out there trying to share this. I'll tell you about like toxins and stuff, but this here, I just keep that on the hush. So this here, I'm just applying it to my life and I'm creating my heaven on earth. I'm not being complacent and I'm doing it now. So that's it. And then as I do this, I'm just falling more in love with myself. This is going to be crazy, but it's kind of hard for me to be with a woman now. Even though I have these two beautiful women here, I don't even want to be as intimate anymore because I have so much fun just with myself. I'm thinking, oh, that could have been a second I spent with myself. And it's a whole new dimension, man. It's very interesting. I never thought I'd be here, because I love fun time and play time and stuff like that with the ladies, But I'm coming to the point where I'm seeing it. I'm like, well, every second I'm doing that, I'm not with me. And it's a crazy life. I never thought I'd be here.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is very true. And we do have these capabilities here to bring our heaven on earth, you can say. Whatever you desire, whatever you manifest, whatever your will is, we have the ability to create that life here. It is our limiting beliefs that stop that from happening. And when you tap into it, and when you clean out yourself, and when you tap into yourself, you realize that you have the kingdoms of heaven are within you already. So
Yeah.
materialize those into your life. It's very possible. It is very real. Mikey's doing it, as you guys can see. Um, he's living it. He's traveling. Now you say that you retired, right? So you retired at what, 7 years ago?
About 7 years ago, yeah. About 7 years ago. About 6.5, something like that. Whenever I found this out, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put it to the test. If this is real, then I want to be retired. Oh, it happened. Oh snap! This is pretty freaking real. Okay, let's go. Okay, what else can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't talk about it, be about it. You know.
And I'm sure that you weren't 100% ready financially to say, you know what, I don't know your financial situation, but I'm almost 100% sure that you took a leap of faith and said, you know what, if I'm gonna be about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know your personal story, you know, you
Mhm.
don't share how how you became retired. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure that you say, you know what, if I can really connect with this energy that's going to supply this abundance that's there, I'm just going to go. Is that correct?
Yeah, bam. Some very similar to that. So I had a business back in the day before I retired, and I wasn't making that much. I was making like $4,000 a month or something like that, and I was married with Sasha, so taking care of her, $4,000 a month. Not a very successful business. Well, I learned this stuff here about like going down and changing the stuff through the meditation that I mentioned in the guide, and then I found my core beliefs, or like my table of contents in my soul. Like, this is what I believe and this is what I'm about. When I remove these things, I found out they directly correlate with reality. So I had this limiting belief that rich people don't like me, blah, 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 blah. So therefore, I never hung out with rich people. I found that I changed it once I took that out of my body and say, no, fucking rich people love me. I started hanging out with rich people. I started hanging out with rich people. And then once I said, okay, all my clients are wealthy, then all of a sudden all my clients are wealthy. And some of these clients I started getting like $30,000 contracts with, $70,000 contracts, $100,000 contracts. So I went from making sometimes, $4,000 a month to landing in a week, maybe $150,000 in contracts. And this is like, oh snap. Okay, now billionaires like me. Then I start being hired by multi-billion-dollar corporations, and they start being my customers. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm limiting myself. I'm just thinking about customers. If I'm thinking here, what's beyond money? What's beyond that? I can be, and that's whenever I linked in. I'm like, now I just stay connected. I'm like, it's all here. Was I ready financially? No. I mean, if there was a big, if Jeff Bezos tried to take me out financially, he could do it without even blinking. Like, as far as a money's term. But since it's not even a money thing, it's just tapping into this and everything I believe I get, then why am I putting myself behind the cart, behind the horse, behind the eight ball? Why am I setting myself so far back? Why do I keep operating in money? So then I'm like, okay, well, let me just do this, and bam, now it's here. This is it. And I just stay connected. The only thing is, if I don't stay connected, I see my money go down. If I stay connected, even if I'm sleeping, my money goes up. I'd never focus on money. I have no idea how much I have. I don't even know how much I have. I never focus on money anymore, and I haven't done that in a long time. And I don't need to. But from what my accountants say, I have more money now than back then. But I'm like, don't tell me the number. I'm just going to keep going. And that's how it is. As long as I stay connected, everything's good. The money itself is the gauge that I'm spending time with myself. If my money goes down, I need to spend more time with myself. If my money's going up, I've been spending quality time with myself. That's it. I use it as a gauge. It's my fuel meter. That's it. Don't even care about the number. What do I need? I don't need food. I already have a house. I already have this. What do I need?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Crazy
And
stuff,
I like when you say, once your manifestations start happening and they start becoming real, and you're like, holy crap, this is real. This really works. And then you're like, wait, I think I'm limiting myself. I had that same realization when I was manifesting things in my life, before I really started having, more all these out of body experiences. I got into manifestation. And I was seeing like, oh, this really works. You can really manifest things here. And then it was like, wait, if I just did that, what's stopping me from manifesting something bigger or something greater? My own thoughts, right? So don't limit myself. Let me go big, right? And then, you know, I got into the whole, then I became, you know, after more and more out of body experiences, I stopped. I realized material things here weren't, that's not what I want anymore. But it's that realization when you're like, holy crap, this works. That's life changing. That's life changing for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now I actually think manifestation is a distraction. I tell people to stop manifesting. I think it's dumb. Don't even manifest anymore, because you're only getting what you actually want, and just see what you're automatically manifesting and just read it, interpret it. And the moment you get it, you'll manifest something else. So you don't even have to try to manifest or believe or declare or write down or like spin around 3 times and like wish. You're literally manifesting the very thing that your soul is. So you should look at what you've been manifesting, articulate it and understand it, interpret it, and then recognize yourself. And then once you shift as a person, you just automatically start manifesting this over here, and you never have to do anything. Now you never had to waste any energy declaring or speaking or calling down kingdoms or like strongholds. Like it was all you fighting you, because that's what you believed you deserved. So that's what you got. And the moment you recognize yourself, you just shift into something else. You get that.
With the manifesting, you know, and that's the everything that's in front of you is a manifestation. So the goal is to, what are you thinking about? Because what you're thinking about is coming right in front of you repeatedly. So, you know, I just made a video on manifestation, but it wasn't the average go do this and that and that. No, it's like recognize that the shitty place that you find yourself today, you made it for yourself. So once you realize, when you become aware, now you're like, oh shit, I did this. Yeah, look back at every decision that you took you to where you find yourself today. So now that you're here, recognize that you're here and start thinking differently, so that your tomorrow would be a different manifestation. It just, like you say, it's shit because the words get hijacked and make you dumb following shit that it really isn't what the root cause is. The root cause is your thinking is fucked. Therefore, your life is fucked. So once you my baby woke up, go to mommy.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Go to mommy. All right. So you know, so everything that we see in front of us is our own creation. And you know, that word manifestation is very misused, and it's only about the abundance and the things that you want. But let's get to the root of it, which is no. Everything in front of you is that manifestation. Let's start thinking differently. Let's start finding different ways of relating with our surroundings, and you know, and it comes from what the intake. That's why I love your stuff, because we are absorbing everything. So if you expose your brain, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your skin to all these unnatural, you know, I keep talking about that book that I'm downloading from higher realms, and when I heard your whole interview, I'm like, this dude stole the book. I don't know where because it's the same, you know, we're at that, and I'm just an average dude, just like you are, just like Andre is. But once you start opening yourself up, the possibilities are endless. You know, it's just truly endless, and it goes beyond the financial. You know, I don't care how much is there every month. Bills are paid, the kids are eating, we go out when we want to, we move to the way we want to, and obviously still, you know, overcoming more and more of the programming. Like you said, I still every day do that inventory, and it's not even that serious anymore. It's just it is, you know, okay, that's what I'm feeling. I realize I have to change my thinking. And every day it's less and less and less. And I'm really honored to have you here, because of what you tapping into, and that's what we want to bring to our audience. You know, we want y'all to understand that there's always more knowledge to attain, and you don't have to be a Mikey, you don't have to be an Andre, you don't have to be a Bam, you have to be you, and being you is okay. Get right with you. Understand what in your environment is keeping you attached to this energetical field, because that's all it is. You know, our field is just so that you can elevate, you can have that energy. You know, I'm pretty energetic too. I sleep, you know, I probably should sleep a little more, but I have the energy, so I really don't. You know, I got 5 kids, 2 businesses, the channel, you know, run around my, you know, and you know, it's awesome to have you. I'm gonna give you the floor, but I just wanted to add to that manifesting is what you do every day. So really start thinking about what you think about, and not too much. Just recognize that this pattern of thought had gotten me what I have, and I don't want it no more.
Yeah, exactly. That was so well put. Like that's exactly it. And especially what you're saying, like you're absorbing everything. That's why even in this podcast right now, this live stream, I am trying to throw up as much as possible in the shortest amount of time, because you're going to absorb all the energy. So, you know, whatever Bam's saying, Andre, whatever, like whatever we're saying, like if you're hearing it, you're absorbing sound pressure and sound waves. If you're seeing it, you're absorbing the electromagnetic frequency. You are an absorption mechanism. So whenever you receive the same energy of the people who have what you want to have, you will get that by default. Like literally people in my Discord community, I will just throw up as much as I possibly can of words and voice notes and videos and everything else. And in that time, they'll automatically start manifesting more money. I have a woman, her first week in, she manifested over $12,000. I have another person, their first month in, I think they dropped over 20 pounds without even doing anything, just from listening to the energy, just from absorbing this energy. They didn't even change anything, because it's all energy. Whenever you get hooked into this life energy, it's like hooking you up to like a voltage meter or like some sort of like a live wire. You just get shocked. You just get all this energy, and all of a sudden, bam, the output of life changes. So you want to absorb as much as you possibly can every second. So I try to give out as much energy as I can, because I know that if you receive my energy, your life can't not change. It has to change, because nothing in reality comes into contact with something and doesn't have an effect. That's a law in reality. Every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Every cause has an effect. So whenever you experience or come in contact with this energy, something's going to happen. So just absorb as much of this energy as possible. Watch all their podcasts, watch all their downloads, watch all their videos, get all their stuff. Just absorb it as much as you can, and by default, your life will change. You don't have to understand what you're hearing, what you're reading. Just by being in the vibration of it, it happens by osmosis. And that's how most of my life is now. Like I don't even consciously do anything. I just feel, and whenever I feel, it just happens.
That's so cool.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier. Makes a lot. I don't even read anymore, just to be honest, man. I get in that vibration as much as possible, and like, bam, it's all there. Bam's name, but like yeah. Bam.
Yeah, beautiful. So Mikey, thank you for your time. I don't want to keep things too long, but I do want to mention, guys, for those of you watching, Mikey does have a book, I believe it is, called The Guide, where he teaches, the Life Guide, where he teaches these things. So everything that you're interested, everything that you've seen here today, he goes down in detail and describes, how you can achieve these things for yourself, including but not limiting to diet, meditation, the meditation, your diet, and just your overall natural state of being. Correct?
So what it is, it's the formulaic approach, the step-by-step process. Think of it as like an IKEA manual. When you're building a chair or like a desk or a bed frame, right? There's step 1, step 2, step 3 until you build your bed or your closet or whatever. That's what this is. this has about 300 pages, and it's a step-by-step guide, a formulaic approach on how to enter this state. And in the state, you get everything. You want money, you want muscles, you want youth, you want this. It doesn't matter. It's all in that state. So this is a step-by-step manual of how to enter that state. And it goes over like what to eat and your environment and everything else that we talked about here.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Andre,
And guys, yeah.
You ready to cut it? Because you know, if you don't mind answering one or two questions, now that we have.
Yeah, we're gonna go to a live Q&A.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here with you guys.
Yeah, we'll do a live Q&A for sure. But yeah, so that's beautiful. And guys, what Mikey's teaching in his guide, that can be applicable to anything. As you see, Mikey's life is reflective of his heaven on earth, right? But you can bring your own heaven on earth here, whatever that looks like for you. It is very attainable, and these things are real, as you can see it. And
I'll just interject with this. I made the guide for me. I didn't make it to be sold. I originally made it for me. It's my journal. And then people started asking me, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I have my notes for my journal. Hey, yeah, can I have that? And I'm like, you want to buy my journal? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I just made it available for people. But when you're reading it, that's just my notes to myself. That's the step-by-step process of how I got here. That's all it is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
I made something I want, and then that's what it is. I just made something I want for myself, you know?
Yeah, beautiful. And for people that are interested in this, where can they find the guide?
You can go to theguide.life, L-I-F-E, theguide.life, and everything's there. I'll shoot you guys a link to that where you guys can put on your channel and stuff like that, but you can go to theguide.life.
Yeah, we'll put it on the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you for that, Mikey. So at this time, guys, we're opening up the chat to a live Q&A. So if you guys can please keep the chat to questions only, questions for Mikey. And yeah, let's see what Mikey can answer for you guys. So the first question is from Ferguson. So can you explain why manifesting is a distraction? Aren't we always manifesting?
Yeah, for sure. Manifesting is great, but it's the byproduct, it's the effect, it's the outcome. If you're trying to change the outcome, you're trying to go to the fruit tree and change the fruit versus just planting another tree. Instead, see what was manifested from that, and that's going to tell you what seed you just planted. So instead of you trying to manifest something else, just recognize what you've been manifesting. It's going to tell you everything about yourself. Once you see, like something magical happens once you finally see that about yourself. Once you see what you've been manifesting, you instantly shift dimensions. You go into like another mode. And with that data, you start planting other seeds and you get these manifestations by default. Oh, I'm the person who manifested lack and this and that, or this, or I manifest the perfect spouse or perfect date, but it never goes all the way through. Like I'm not married yet or whatever. So like you need to start, instead of trying to change the outcome over here, acknowledge what you've been manifesting, and then it's going to lead you into an ease and an automatic manifestation for later. So it's not the thing you should be focused on. You should be reflecting. So forget manifesting, just reflect, and you'll have what you want by default. It may take a month or 2 or 3, but getting this process down makes it so much easier.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get you guys a link so y'all can put it on your sites. It's gonna be for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I seen another question earlier on. They were asking, how come your skin looks so dark now when in another picture that they seen of you, you looked light? I know you touched on this briefly earlier on, but if you want to touch on this.
Well, I have pretty like pale skin. So if I'm not in the sun, like I have a picture here with me, but like I get like really pale and I burn in the sun. So if I go out in the sun, I'll burn in like 15 minutes, depending on where I'm at. So I have slowly developed myself to be able to harbor and harness the touch of direct sunlight on my skin. And now I can be in the sun for sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours and I never burn. But before that, man, if I was in the sun for even 15 minutes, I would burn. So I've slowly built myself up to be able to maintain just direct contact with the sun. Here's the thing. Here's what a sunburn is. Let's even talk about that. A sunburn is your skin being overcapacitated with energy. So therefore it burns. Think of like when you're cooking food, right? If you were to cook something, some things burn quicker, some things burn slower. So if you were to cook maybe like eggs could burn faster and burn up more than meat. Same thing with vegetables. They burn faster than meat. So whenever you adapt your cells to be larger and to be able to utilize more energy, you're not overcapacitated, and you can direct that energy of the sun and you won't burn. So I noticed that if I don't meditate, my skin stays darker. But the more I meditate and go in, it actually robs the tan of my skin, and I become lighter in real time. So if I was to meditate today, tomorrow I would instantly look lighter. If I didn't meditate today, tomorrow I would look exactly the same color. It's in like your body and your mind harnesses the power of the cells in real time, and your color goes with it. It's wild stuff.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Paul Freedom asks, do you really not work out at all? How often and how if you do?
Yeah, for sure. What's up, Paul? How's it going, man? Love you, bro. I haven't worked out in 5 years. So before, I used to struggle with weight. I used to be overweight. I used to gain weight so easy. So I would be fat very easy. I look at a donut and I would just blow up. I was that guy. I had to really restrict my calories and do all the stuff. And I would work out sometimes twice a day. And I was still overweight. I was bigger. I had muscles, but I was just heavy. And I was so tired of working out. And like it was really exhausting because I never want to be a big guy. It's funny, like we always want to be the opposite of what we are. I've always been big. I've always wanted to be a smaller dude. So I used to work out a lot to try to lose weight. And I ended up injuring myself. And then from that injury, it showed me like, bro, like this is not working. You're doing it wrong. So I stopped working out about 5 years ago, a little bit over now. And I've actually grown in muscle mass. At one point, I went down, I lost a bunch of weight, and then I started growing muscle mass again. So my muscles have actually gotten bigger in that time. I don't work out. I don't do body weight. I don't do push-ups. I don't do sit-ups. I don't take supplements. I don't do calisthenics or anything like that. This is just simply like once you reach this harmonic state, all your hormones and all the function in your body naturally produce what your body's supposed to have. And then for me, my muscles are a little bit bigger from that.
Are you doing mirror flexing still or no?
I don't do mirror flexing anymore. So like I already hit a point where like I'm so here at this point, I kind of don't want bigger muscles. I'm trying to stay off being so muscular because so what Bam's referring to, like in the guide, it talks about mirror flexes. And it's a specific type of flex that you do in the mirror while you hold your breath. What that does is it creates a vacuum cell in your body and helps pump out lymphatic fluid. It activates your muscles, it activates your cardiovascular system, it activates your respiratory system, it activates your lymphatic system. That helps release the toxins that are stuck in your body. Now you could do this to shape yourself, but since I've been healthy for so long in this specific lifestyle, I might do them maybe once every 2 months now, but I haven't done them. But if you're starting the guide, you need to do them at least 6 days a week, at least.
It's funny that I when I read that I started giggling because my brother, he's my cousin, but we grew up together. He's my brother.
Yeah.
And they used to all go to karate, and my mom couldn't afford it, so he's like, "Just come here." And we were all kids, so he used to get all the cousins in front of the mirror, and he had us flexing. This'll do it. You don't have to go to class, but
That's it, bro. That's dude, your cousin, your bro's on something because that connects you neurologically with your body and it gives you body awareness. That's as long as the connection's developed, your body can send resources there without you ever having to tear your muscles and do all this other stuff. There's no reason I should have muscles like I have. There's no reason. Anybody who hasn't worked out in 5 years, I'm pretty sedentary. I just sit down and meditate all day. They atrophy. There's no reason. But once that connection's there, if you learn how to stay aware in it, you hold yourself and you build out from there. And it makes it so much easier. Your cousin was on to something, man.
Right. And we were young, so that's crazy how, I don't know where he got it from, but we used to.
Yeah, that's how I got it, man. All this stuff's out there. You just pick it up.
Awesome.
Beautiful. So Kennedy Medlock asks, which chemicals makes us most hungry?
MSG helps make you hungry. So like if you go to a Chinese buffet and they have monosodium glutamate on all their food, you'll just keep eating endlessly. You'll never get full. So that's one of them.
Yeah, I've experienced that. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Why would you not get full? Whenever you eat the food in the guide, it tastes delicious. It's great. It's awesome. It's amazing. But you sometimes have a hard time finishing it because it's so nutrient dense. You're just like full by halfway through. You're like, bro, I'm so full. But you go to a buffet or some sort of restaurant, it's like an endless, bottomless pit. It's just like going. You never get full. It's because there's a chemical and they're turning off certain switches in your brain to where your brain becomes unaware. And you don't even realize that your stomach's bloated, so you never turn it off and you keep eating. They have this thing down to a science, man. They have this down to a science. They know how to turn off specific receptors.
Yeah, and having things down to a science, I like to always say, you know, same with space, right? They have, you know, they have the best engineers all times working on creating these theories, right? So when you have the best people working on this, you're gonna come up with some shit.
Exactly.
You know,
color make you hungry. Doing this, like Taco Bell is not a restaurant. It is a science factory. McDonald's is a science factory. They have engineers, scientific engineers, to chemically make stuff that you taste, to visually represent stuff that you see, that you hear. They have armies working to trap your senses so you think that you want that thing. You have entire forces and teams and lab assistants and all this stuff working to hijack you visually, auditory, taste-wise, scent in every single way, and keep you addicted to it. You don't want to give it up. Now you know it's bad and you still won't stop it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's the whole freaking army working against you, bro.
That's crazy. And it's true. That's crazy, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, as long as you know what's out there, now it's just like it's not that bad, but it's only when you don't know. If you didn't know what I just said, that's bad. That's dangerous. Now that you know, it's like, okay, cool. Well, now I know what's there. Like once you expose the boogeyman, it's not so big anymore. So you should have a lot easier time like avoiding McDonald's or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Herculine asks, do you have any kids? If you do they go 70 days without eating too? And what about your lovers? Do they eat and do they work to support, or are you the only one that's the money magnet?
Hercules,
it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I love them. I love them all. No, I do not have any kids. Kids are cool. Kids are the future. I love kids. They're awesome. I used to be a worship leader. Like kids are freaking awesome. But I always like, here, go back home to your parents. Like here you go. That's like too much energy for me. But if I did have kids, right? So like my lovers and my kids, right? If a person in general is below the age of 25, I say you need to eat as much as you possibly can. You need to stock up, eat every day. If you're still under 19, you need to eat as many times as you possibly can, in a sense, because that kid's going to get the kid's preparing for the journey. The teenage years are the preparation. So now when they get in their 20s, it's going to be a lot easier. So the child or the teenager needs to eat as much as possible. From 19 to 25, you kind of start reducing it. Maybe they can eat like twice a day, but still eat as much as they need to. And after 25, you can start prolonging this journey and going out into the deep end. I eat every 70th day. Cool. My lover's Lay, she eats every other day. While my other lover, Sasha, she eats every 4th day. But it's at their own rate and their own insecurities and their own fears. Like how well have they mitigated themselves? Are they meditating? Are they doing the exercises as well? Because I never force it on anybody. Like I said earlier, like you have to want to do this. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Only do what you're ready to do, because if you do things you don't want to do, you're actually going to be wasting double the amounts of energy because you're not convinced. Something in you doesn't believe. Something in you does not agree with yourself. So don't fight yourself. Commune with yourself. Like Bam was saying, the family doesn't fight. They don't fight in the family. They talk it out. Well, you have family members all in here. Some believe this, some believe that, some want to do this, some want to do that. So if you don't want to do something, don't force yourself to do it. talk with yourself until it makes sense. And then once you agree, now you never have to convince yourself again. So I'm on 70 days, they're on every 4th day, and she's on every other day. And as far as the money, we all know this energy here. And I'm the main one who's kind of like the staple in life. But Sasha helps me do everything. She like helps make the website. Lay has helped make the Discord and run the Discord community. So everybody has their part. It's like a unit. When all things are doing like in the Bible it says a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So whenever you braid a cord and you tie these things up, it becomes strong. So we all have our part. Every person supporting the other one. It's actually easier with multiple partners than it is with just one partner. I was married to Sasha for, I would say, about 7 years before I brought my first other partner into our relationship. It's easier with 3 partners, 4 partners, even 6. I had me and 6 other women all together when I still lived in the USA. It was easier with me and 6 women than it is with just me and 1, because now they have a confidant, they have someone to lean on, they don't have to take my energy in the sense of, okay, it has to be from him. I say that not because I don't want to share my energy, but because sometimes I'm not in the best energy. And if I'm the only energy source for that person and I fail them, that makes it hard for me. But like, if I'm in a specific energy and like you have 2 people over here, we can have a council, because I'm not always right. And I know that. Sometimes I see things in a skewed perspective. Maybe we need another person to say like, no, Mikey, you were like acting like this, bro. It kind of was. Or 4 people, and it's like, oh man, hey, look, Mikey, before you even get in that mood, hey, let's talk about this because we see the moods coming. So now we all have each other's back, and now it's even stronger than ever. So we all help bring in wealth and success and everything else. We all have each other's backs. We're always looking out for each other. We're always looking out for the storm. We always help prevent it, and we just work together. We just live together. So it's not even about the bedroom or intimate time. It's just about loving one another. Just be happy. Like, you're always going to be stronger in numbers than by yourself. The lone wolf starves. Like, you're always stronger in numbers. That's why I praise Bam for having 5 kids. That's amazing. Dude, have the kids. Keep them in the family, man. Don't even like send them out to like, oh, you're 18. Like, dude, that's power. There's power in numbers. Have a big family, man. And my family just so happens to be my partners.
Have more partners. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. I just had the other partner from, fly in the other day. So like, we'll see. She'll probably visit me in the next country. Usually in every country I go to, I have usually like at least 1 girlfriend. Like Japan, the Philippines, I have like 3 girlfriends in the Philippines, and then so on and so forth, right? So it just depends on if they can travel or not. But if I ever go back, then I have, family there.
Mikey, listening to you, man, it really reminds me of the heavenly realms. That is really kind of what it's like there.
Oh, 100%. Oh my God,
yeah.
dude. Every time a person comes, because I've had some dudes come out and hang out with me, like for like bros and stuff like that. They come here, they're like, the air is just so like saturated in peace. Like when these girls first come over, like that first night of sleep, they'll sleep for like 13 hours. They're like, I've never slept that long before. And I tell them it's because their body finally felt safe. They can finally turn off that fight or flight mode, that fear response. And their body, like, even though they didn't know it consciously, their body felt safe that it could sleep for 13 hours straight. So that's a very common thing. The atmosphere is always charged with love and growth. And when it's charged like that, how could you get hungry? You're not wasting any energy. The very atmosphere itself is self-replicating in your DNA, in your expansion, in your regeneration. So like the very air here gives you life. It's a very beautiful thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like when you said earlier, that, I'm more energetic now than the beginning of the conversation. I felt the same way. I feel that energy, it's just amazing. I'm highly energetic too, but I feel the increases for sure. And it's lovely. I love it.
Bro, I'm here. I don't see you drinking stuff. I don't see you scarfing anything down. Where's this energy coming from? Where is it? It's the atmosphere. It's the environment. It's the approach into that state, man. We're living off of this. And when we live off that, we just have a different conversation. It's a completely different life. People are trying to say, hey, Mikey, how do I live the guy, but like with my old life, right? They're like trying like, how do I do this without that? And I'm like, you're trying to antiquate a system. You just embrace a whole different system and your life comes out differently. It just automatically comes out different. It is by default, man. You end up making, like I have one woman in my Discord. She is spending less money because she's not as hungry, but she's also making more money because the energy, her husband's not even in it. It's just her. But now her husband is making more money because he's a trader, because he can focus easier, because she needs less, because she's more satisfied. The kids aren't fighting as much. It's just an atmospheric thing. It just is. So it's not even like you're trying to antiquate your old lifestyle or whatever. You just end up embracing a new life and it gives you all the money for you. You don't got to try to plan it. It just happens. She didn't even try. She wasn't even trying to do that. She was just testifying. Like, hey man, this is what I've experienced so far. 2 months in the Discord.
Pretty amazing stuff. We have a question. We have a question by Crimson Fire.
Okay.
Do you think that the collective will ever become conscious enough to say collectively, no more, we want to be healthy? And I think you just answered that. You know, you'll become that collective. You'll be that.
Exactly. So that's actually the answer right there. Bam actually just said it, but a take to kind of like follow up with that is like, how long until Crimson Fire and until you are going to be that person? Because as long as you're focused out there, you're not it. As long as like, what about the moment you take that same what about energy, you put it in you wake up and there's just more people around you who are awake. And the more you do that, you wake up, the more people around you are awake. You do it again, the more people. So it's just you. We're waiting on you, Crimson. Wake us up. Be the example. You're doing good, brother. Crimson, we believe in you, man. That's a great question.
Kevin Hansen asks, he says, a friend recently told him about grounding by walking barefoot part of the time. He said, he asked, do you think this is important or significant?
That's one, Kevin, right? Kevin, that's a great question, bro. That's how I got the energy before this interview, is I was outside in the sun grounding because I knew that this was going to be a very powerful interview, probably the most powerful interview I've ever been on. So I was getting ready for it. So I was outside grounding and breathing in the sun before that. And now the energy that you see here is what I'm living off of, because I rose out of bed a couple of hours ago. So usually whenever I rise out of bed, it takes me a second to get up. I'm like kind of gearing up and everything else. But that grounding and that charging the earth, I was so ready for the interview by the time I was done. It makes the world of difference, man. So I would say do it. You get better grounding on concrete. Surprisingly, believe it or not. So you get better grounding on concrete, not asphalt, but concrete, like, gray, white, light concrete, than you do grass or sand. Also touch trees. That helps a lot too.
Why? Do you know?
Yeah. Because the concrete has a denser connectivity to it. In the ground, there's always space in between everything. And the further the space, the lesser conductivity of something. So the further things are apart from each other, the more energy has to be used to reach the next one. But if they're close and they're touching and they're collapsed on each other, it can conduct a lot easier. So concrete is crushed and pulverized, and it's just earth. That's pretty much what concrete is. It's earth, the rock and everything else, but crushed on itself. It's denser in a sense. It's not heavier per se, but it's denser and it's connected. Because of that, you'll get a greater conductivity from concrete than sand, because sand is like globular. So like there's space in between it. I had a voltage meter and I went out to the beach one day and I read it on the sand and the grass and on the concrete. The concrete beat the sand by like 3 times. You have 3 times grounding power in the concrete than you do the sand. And then the grass is like midway. It's like the middle. But it's all good. So just do it. Just actually, you shouldn't even be wearing shoes as much as possible anyway. So just take your shoes off.
Yeah. Sure. Good advice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Good question, Kevin.
Yeah. Mr. Alan Tenderfoot asks, Mikey, do you go into the sun receiving information energy? Like, do you sun gaze?
Dude, Tenderfoot is the perfect name to follow up that question we just talked about grounding. Tenderfoot. Yeah. That is perfect, man. I couldn't even plan that. That's so cool. Exactly. Yes. So stars are data. The sun has energy. I saw a science experiment one time where they took duck eggs and chicken eggs and they shot a beam of light through them. So they had the duck eggs first, and they shot the beam of light into the chicken egg. So light carries data. So when they shot that beam of light through the duck egg into the chicken egg, it changed the embryo of the chicken, and the chicken developed a bill of a duck and webbed feet.
What?
Light carries data. So as it goes through our atmosphere into our body, it is automatically downloading into us by default. Not even revelatory information consciously in your brain, but muscular detox, all the other stuff by default. Now, if you go in the sun with intention and you hold a thought, as the sun beams on it, it amplifies that thing. So it's very powerful. So I definitely do go in the sun to get it, but you need to understand everything affects everything. So it's just good to be in the light. Turn off all artificial lights. Try to make your house as dark as possible at night. Use a lamp. If you need an LED light, put a cover over it. No bright lights in the house. Try to use the sun as your main source of life, and it will literally reshape your DNA in the way you think. Like, you guys see me now, right? I wasn't like this 6 years ago. So if you would have saw me 6 years ago, like, that's a different person. Who am I talking? Who is this Mikey? I knew Mikey from back then. It's because all that data, eventually it'll accumulate and it will shift the very characteristic of who you are. You'll be a different person. I'm a person of the sun now, and that's why I talk about this.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Dorcas.
That was a great question.
Dorcas asks, how does he protect himself from psychic attacks and negative entity attachments?
I love that. Your name is cool too, Dorcas. That's pretty. That's a cool name, man. It reminds me of like a special like archery bow, like with an arrow. The Dorcas. It's really cool. I personally found this out a long time ago. I was Christian. I was heavily in the church, and I saw principalities and spirits and stuff like that. And I found out, as long as I believed in those things, I actually gave it the fuel to attack me. But the moment I stopped believing in it, I stopped, because whatever you believe in, you give your energy over to, right? If you watch the movie, the woke movie or whatever, hey, could you actually turn that off, please? Is that right there? Whenever I would watch, if you watch the woke movie, the horror movie, you're giving your energy to that thing. So if I think about psychic attacks and demons and bad or whatever, I actually give them the ability to attack me. If I just cut them off, no, I'm cutting you off. No more for you. You've had enough. Then they don't ever have the fuel to attack me, and I never experience it anymore. Like, I don't even think about them. I just keep all of my thoughts focused on good, and I keep experiencing a completely harmonious, peaceful, euphoric life. No,
I want to add to that too, and it's also, you know, it's second. I second fully that. I fully second that. You're and because I've been there, you know, I've been there. So there is places where these energies conglomerate, right? And your mind takes you to that place. It's not the other way around. You put yourself in those places by that same thing. Once you open your thinking to that creation, you you bring yourself anywhere you go. You know, you're going to that place because you're thinking that, and you know, we're not here alone. You know, they're just a different creation. And guess what? I'm looking at the camera right now because this is very important. Nothing, absolutely nothing can harm the soul. They just trying to scare you. It can't touch you. It's just so that when you feel that fear, you hold yourself back from trying to experience these other different places. But once you, like Mikey said, once that, and again, face it. I'm not trying to tell you forget about it. Stand there and try what he's talking about, what I'm talking about. Stand there and change your thinking to angels, to your own power, to seeing yourself as that light that these beings that moved away from unconditional love can't stand. They can't stand your light because you can never be as far away from your true creation as they have been. So if you stand there and you stand in your power, no, I am this light. If you can't stand this light, then you're welcome to be close to me. but they can't, and they try to scare you so that you don't shine that. So I had experiences with that, and I understand why, and there's levels to understanding, but in a very basic understanding, for conversation's sake, create a different thought, because the question alone reflects what's in your environment, in your thinking environment. So thank you for the question, and face it like that. There's a reason as to why they say face your demons, because they are there, because there's a creation that, because of information that you that by osmosis a lot of time. That's why there's a lot of shit that you don't know that is entering your field when you turn that TV on, when you put them news, when you hang out with certain people. You are putting all those external influences in your own dimensional space, and you can't take yourself out of that dimensional space with enough training again. But face it, I promise you, one time alone that you stand your ground, that completely disappears out of your experience.
Totally. That is very powerful. That is extremely powerful. If I was to ever have a psychic attack on me or a demonic attack, I'd make that motherfucker go and clean my kitchen. Like, yo, if there's gonna be a demon or a ghost in the house, you better put your ass to work. You better like pay your rent. Like, you're gonna do something while you're here. Like,
if you're gonna be here, contribute somewhere.
Yeah, you're gonna earn your keep. If you're gonna be here trying to attack me, you better put your ass to work and go like wash the dishes or something, man. Like no free lunch, you know. And so you just come with that mindset, like Bam was saying, even like facing it, it's like you really see how small all that stuff is. And honestly, at the end of the day, maybe whenever we wake up and the end of the cycle, the end of the age, we'll just see that we were just playing with ourselves anyway. This is one big playground and we're just playing with ourselves. This is just, we're here to have fun. So just make sure that you're having fun. And when you have fun, you get so caught up in feeling good that you forget the time.
Yeah.
That's
good.
Well said, guys.
You don't
Well
have
said,
you
guys.
don't have anything towards that, Andre?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows, maybe not Mikey, but everybody, yeah, the mindset is everything, guys. We are uncontrollable souls. We are our ultimate authority. We are creator beings. Nothing can hurt, harm, or touch the soul. You are your ultimate authority. This is both true in the body and in the out-of-body state. I mean, it's as simple as that, and it's clear. And these are unspeakable truths of the universe. These things do not change, no matter what. And as long as you believe that, nothing will ever hurt, harm, or touch you. It's all mindset. And like Mikey said, you just don't even think like that. You just don't even allow those things in your way. If something comes your way, you command it not to be so, right? Command your space. That's really all it is, right? If you're, think about it, if you are a creator being, if you are your ultimate authority, like how people hear how we view God. If you are that, if I'm telling you that is what we are, what would you think God would do? What would he do? Say, get away or stop or anything, right? Or give him a hug. Do anything, any of those, right? Because you know, as God, nothing can touch you. You are the ultimate authority. It is the same thing, guys. Same thing.
Can I go one more minute deep on that real quick? What this is, and I want this message to be spread too, because every piece of consciousness in creation right now, it's because my mind is remembering, so are all of creation. So is all of creation raising their understanding of the nature of reality. So a lot of these beings that have been away from love, they are also moving back towards that which is everything, which is unconditional love. And all of these different systems of control have made it their business to always put an enemy in front of you. So there's always something to have against, because if you can find something to fight against, you will always have an internal fight, and that is their goal, to have you fighting with the unseen. It's same as hatred. when you really feel some type of way about another human being, it's not them. They are living their life. They happy-go-lucky. They walk that night. They living their life. They feeding their kids. They don't give a fuck about you. You're the one who internally feels that hatred. So let's drop all the enemies. Let's decide to have no enemies, because ain't nobody worried about you. The worst enemy that you can face is your ignorance. It's not knowing who you truly are. So get to sit alone with yourself. And, you know, whenever you have those thoughts about psychic attacks and negative entities, think about you. You're not that. You'll see how much empowerment comes from discovering your true self. The out-of-body state help with that. Having a proper physical experience helps with that. So that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're bringing guests that have mastered many things. You know, like he was saying, like Mikey was saying earlier, you hear one piece of information right now, and then you're gonna click off and go turn Netflix on again. No, sit with that information and go deeper. Seek that knowledge to a deeper degree, and that's when it's gonna open another door of understanding. And what you thought it was difficult at some point is gonna be like, oh shit, I really used to struggle with that bullshit. No, now you have another greater level of understanding to seek. So that's the reason we're gonna keep having guests that have mastered, like for example, in Mikey's case, by mastering the experience. Because I read a little bit about your story, you know, he needed a better health, and that's what opened the door to more. So all you gotta do is find one part of that which you are to improve, and every other aspect of you is gonna, because like he was saying, like that 3 braided thing that he was talking about, the Bible talks about, everything in the Bible is spiritual. So and all the books of wisdom is spiritual. So it's talking about the physical part of you, is talking about the soul part of you, which is the one that sees consciousness, and it's talking about the spiritual side of you, which is the breath that you take in. So those 3 is what that really is talking about. But yeah, take that time to think about yourself and know that even those things that at some point look ugly and scary, they coming into beautiful aspects of themselves.
Well said.
Amen. Preach, brother. That was good.
Said. And it can also be boiled down to, first step is knowledge, right? When we tell you something, it's just knowledge at that point. You then have to integrate it into your life, and then it becomes action, and then you start to embody those things, right? So that's why we also have people from the embody experience here who have mastered these things, who have already done the integration, who are already embodying these things in the physical. Like Mikey, he is embodying this. He is embodying living off your soul's frequency. He is the closest man that I have seen, other than a shaman or a monk, that is living that close to the body's natural template. Who we are, where we are. And it's very interesting to see how he did it, because he didn't do it through the out-of-body state. He did it through solely the embody, you know, just going within and unlocking these things. So it's truly magical. It really is.
Just to validate the out-of-body portion of this, I do create a lot of this stuff by reaching out and talking to the stars. So like there's a lot of power in going out of body, but your automatic habits and your reactions are completely internal. So like I go inside to like see my reaction, I go outside to pull back in. So like I kind of meet the spirit inside with the spirit outside to have an effect in the physical in the middle.
Well, what you were saying earlier about the beings being jealous of us, it isn't a jealousy. It's that this time on earth is so short-lived, and you get to accomplish so much within this body, because here you have to make every decision count. Here's where the rubber meets the road. We go get information out there all the time, but knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So I can hear whatever. I can hear the choirs of the angels singing wisdom. Yeah, beautiful. But if I'm here kicking the dog, kicking my kid, being trifling and grimy, it ain't shit. When you really start seeing your life as, oh shit, I'm really fucking up here. Let me, I was with a person that was very greedy. I was sitting with him, and he was well off, and I see him like stuffing his face, right? And I'm observing him, and he's got other people coming to him and getting a lot from him. He's a guy, he's got some pull, some power, right? And I started talking to him. He started asking me questions, and I told him, the one thing I told him, because I observed that he was being greedy. I wasn't judging. I was just observing. And I told him, look, if you're greedy, share. If you're this, do that. And I threw the greedy part there just to speak directly to him, right? And the day after, I observe him. He called somebody else, like, hey, you want some of it? Like, he really cut his plate in half and get. Now, I didn't think that he was going to listen to that part. In my mind, I'm like, let me see if this word is really doing something. But that's the thing. And every day after that, I seen him. It was during my retreat. And every day after that, I seen him finding somebody to give more, so this person, I really didn't think that he was going to listen. But what I'm trying to tell you is, like, it's not about the big things. Life and nothing in this construct, in this life, is about a huge decision. It's about the small changes that you can make right now. It's about that small change that you can do right now. So apply, even if it's one thing that you learn from this podcast. I'm not getting paid. Mikey's not getting paid. I hope you're not, Mikey, because I got you either way, but we didn't talk about it. But Mikey's not getting paid. Andre's not getting paid. We're doing this because we want for humanity to remember that you are, in fact, that which creates. So get to creating. Take a little bit of this information and apply it however you can.
That's well said. That's beautiful. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
How impactful you are, like, about this guy. Like, dude, that, like, you literally influenced his life. Thanks for believing in yourself enough to know what you know to help that other guy. I'm sure he's forever, grateful for that.
Hopefully, right?
Yes. So Jay Shar asks, so is he saying that we have our own signature frequency highway or lane to access our personal kingdom to manifestation and creativity?
So he's asking if each person has their own frequency, like personal.
Yes, it's
their own kingdom.
Yeah, I believe there our own frequency highway or lane to access our personal kingdom to manifestation or creativity, or is he asking if it's like a joint thing? I'm not too entirely sure there.
I could make a couple different points. Like everything affects everything. So like whoever's in your environment's going to affect you. But no one can live your life. You're the only one who's going to live that specific life. So yeah, it's very specific in that realm. But also, every single person needs air. Like, no one here isn't breathing. Everyone still at some point in time eats. Everyone still sleeps. And, so there's very basic rudimentary things that affects every single person that all of us can agree upon. And then there's a specific perspective that only you will ever experience. You need to do the basic things that everyone needs through your experience and your perspective at your rate. So it's still the same thing, but it's through your eyes. And I hope that helps. Every one of us is supposed to be upgrading, advancing, and graduating every single day to become the fullness of the God that we are. That's it. And everyone's at different varying levels. Everyone has their own energy signatures, but everyone still needs to breathe, meditate, love, put out energy at whatever rate that they can sustain it. So one thing that helps me a lot is like these awesome dudes were saying here, take this information and make sure that you sit with it. Whatever you learn today that you like, hold that thought inside of you and breathe into it. Whatever the lesson is, hey, I want to do a frequency thing. Hey, I want to do whatever it is, whatever that thing is, just take it and breathe and hold your breath and hold that thought and breathe out and bring it back in. And that's going to help you establish the lesson, and you'll probably even see other parameters around it. It's a very useful technique to apply. Helps you learn very fast.
Beautiful. So I don't see any more questions in the chat. Do you have any more questions, Bam?
Not really. Let's wrap up. Let Mikey, leave us with a final thought. I don't know. You have any final closing questions for you're our first interview, so I told Andre, you know what I mean, like this guy, you just let him loose. We just let him loose, and he take over. So we trust it. We trust you with our audience, because you got the fruit in the tree. My mom is super Christian, and she's always trying to get me to go and make the decision, right? And I'm like, but I don't want your fruit, mommy. I love you. I'll take you to the doctor if you need me to. I'll buy you groceries. I'll take you to play con las nietas, whatever you want. But I don't want the fruit in your tree. You know what I mean? So we trust you with our audience, because though you're not, you're still within your physicality, and we're not putting you on a pedestal by any stretch. We all see ourselves as God's creator and creation, but we trust you with our audience. So I said, just let them loose, and I think you cover all the questions. I think we've given them a bunch. I've taken so much from this. It's so much that I have to process. I made no notes, but I know that some things are resonating with me. So do you have any closing questions, Andre? Like, we doing one of those where we ask 3 questions and shit like that, or?
No, I'm not doing none of that. But no, yeah, we'll let Mikey finish up. Mikey, if you have any final words, and then I do have a closing message to the viewers for sure.
Cool. Well, first off, it was an honor to be here. Thank you so much for trusting me with your audience. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You're my brothers. We're brothers in the spirit. We're brothers in this life. And just let's take it to the highest level possible. I believe this is going to be the greatest podcast, the greatest interview that definitely you guys have done so far, because it's the first. But just all in all, there's so much power here. I believe that people are going to listen to this over and over again. And every time it's going to be a new inspiration, a new revelation, a new love. They're going to want to share this. It's going to burn like a wildfire. It's going to catch. So you guys are very blessed. I love you both. Much success. This just started. This is just the beginning of all the good things to come. And I was honored to be a part of it. Thank you for trusting me with your audience. Love you guys.
Beautiful, Mikey. Thank you. No, and thank you, man, truly, because you dropped definitely dropped some gems here, and I hope it opened up a lot of eyes for people. And Mikey, we're definitely going to have you back, because I don't feel like there's any stopping for you. And I feel like maybe, a couple months from now, I might see on Instagram, you're talking about, I haven't ate all year. And I'm like, Mikey, we need to have you back on, man. How are you not eating in a year?
I'm telling you, this happened a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought it would have taken me at least 3 years to get to where I was eating once every maybe 20 days or once a month. I got there in like a year and a half, to every 7 days, every 2 months. So it happens a lot faster. You just kind of, like you guys were saying, don't be scared. Like you start speeding up, the velocity and the acceleration increases, and it's really scary. And this is like, well, who am I going to hang out with? What's going to be there? What's going to happen? And it's just like, as fast as you can perceive and go is as fast as this life will take you into it. So it's up to us, however fast we want to go. It's a lot faster than you think.
That's beautiful. And thank you, Mikey, truly, man, because you reinforced a lot of things here. You reinforced the fact that we are creator beings, that we do create our reality. All things are possible. No, we have no limitations besides the limitations that we put upon ourselves. As soon as you block out and release all self-imposed limiting beliefs upon yourself, you can essentially create your reality. And we see that in you, truly. So I deeply appreciate you today, and thank you for that. And guys, what you witness here today is we are all 3 men here who are constantly creating our realities. We are assured, we are fully awake. We know who we are. We know where we are. We know we are in this game, and we are now learning how to create our reality within this game. We are infinite beings, infinite creators, and we are ultimate authorities. These are the universal truths. These things do not change. And we are all very busy in the physical. Like I go to work, I come home, I go to school, I do YouTube videos, I'm doing one-on-ones on the side. I'm very busy all day long. Bam, same thing. He works, he come home, he has 5 kids, he has a wife, he's taking care of his kids. Mikey, same thing. He gets up, he does his things, he runs his business, he made his book. Mikey. And he's busy in other ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got more women than yeah, he's busy in other ways. But no, we are all creator beings and we're constantly creating our realities. And so thank you guys. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate your time today. Truly. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having me on, and many blessings.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Take it easy. We'll end this.
Cool. Or do you want to end it like total everybody, or